Oh, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and children of all ages, I can't believe I'm on this podcast again. This is a special podcast because we only have one half of the Brothers of Destruction. Will, what's up, Will?
Hi, Chapel.
Now, we've changed the name of this to Between Two Corys. Let's let the other Cory introduce himself.
Introduction. I'm not prepared for that. It's like first day of school. Guess I'm the
fucking icebreaker. No one likes an icebreaker.
I know. Man, just ambush. No, I guess
this is how we're going to do it, man.
That's fine. That's fine.
We're riding that energy, brother.
That's right. So I'm the other Cory. Been friends with Will for, good Lord, I guess over a decade now. Making me feel old. Friends with Grayson actually as well. Met through Will. So just filling in, extra pair of hands, doing what I can to make light work for you guys. So
yeah,
and we appreciate it. And I'm the Carolina bad boy, Cory Chapel. So I love coming on this podcast and shooting the shit with all you guys. So Cory, I hope this is going to be a fun experience for you.
Well, I'm sure it will be. It'll be good.
This is the first post-Grayson show for an indeterminate period of time because he added to the family of the show. There's a wee baby discussion out there now.
Oh, nice. Congratulations, Grayson.
Yes. There's a third. It's two brothers and a son of discussion.
See, my wife and I have been joking about Grayson. You know, he actually lived with us for a little while when he first moved to the Raleigh area, and we called him Unky Grayson. He was the uncle to our dogs, and now he's got his own kid. He can't be uncle anymore, so Rachel calls him Dadhausen.
Dadhausen.
That's great. That's perfect. That's perfect.
Yeah, we may make some Dadhausen signs for the Raleigh AEW show. We'll see.
Oh, that's
awesome.
awesome. That's awesome. I have quite become enamored with Danhausen. And Will knows I'm not much into comedy gimmicks, but for some reason, I love Danhausen.
His comedy gimmick works with our personal musical taste and flavors.
Musical taste and sense of humor, I guess. I mean, he really thinks, everything's very well thought out. Like, it seems silly, but it's like, I heard his cameo to Jim Cornette explaining how people already have teeth in their mouth, so when he pours teeth in their mouth and then kicks them and, and they spit the teeth out, he said it's not against the rules because they already have teeth in their mouth. Even Jim Cornette was like, you can't really argue with the logic,
That's true.
No, you can't.
But Jim also said he doesn't want to watch him wrestle because he enjoys him so much.
I know. What's funny is Danhausen actually can wrestle.
Oh yeah, his early stuff, man, was brutal stuff.
Back when he was Donovan Danhausen,
yeah, man. I mean, I guess the problem was there were a lot of guys with that whole I'm kind of a badass, I'm heavily tattooed, and some of the moves were. I don't think he was reinventing the wheel by any means, but I mean, he was doing great, But I mean, he really found something that's less damage on his body, yet still athletic and entertaining enough. I mean, for Christ's sakes, he just broke his leg.
Yeah,
I know. Just dumb fucking luck.
Yeah, and I saw Danhausen signs. I saw Danhausen. You were wearing a Warhausen shirt, which, if you know who Warhorse is, and you know that they do that tag team on the Indies, that was amazing. I was very impressed by that when I saw you at the Holiday Bash show.
The Warhausen shirt had to be got into because that's how I was introduced to Danhausen. Was Warhausen? Oh, really? I've heard the name Danhausen, and then found out about Warhorse through Grayson and the early announcements for Retrofest or the Retromania wrestling game.
Right.
Retromania. Yeah.
Oh, the one. Yeah, it's like WrestleFest.
Where Warhorse won the fan vote.
That's pretty awesome. I've yet to play that game, though. I've been wanting to play it.
I'll tell you, I tried it. I've got it on Switch. But honestly, if you're going to play, like, you know, kind of retro style with those graphics, you can't beat Fire Pro. I've been so spoiled by Fire Pro Wrestling.
Oh, well, I mean, God, Fire Pro's been around for how long?
It's still great. You know, I mean, it's been a bit since they put out a new sequel, but I mean, it's good stuff. So it's tough to compete, but I mean, it's fun. Retromania is fun if you're looking for more like of an arcadey, you know, something to just play for a few minutes and put it down. But it's.
I haven't actually played in forever, but I remember, you know, it was very specific the way they have the bird's eye view of it. It's like a tilted bird's eye view diagonally of the ring, and you know, no other game's ever done that. And I mean, like I said, it's still going strong today. People love that game.
I know. It's a good series. To circle it back, Warhorse is who I found out first. Then through Warhorse, I discovered Warhausen, and that, through having heard of Danhausen, led me into the Danhausen rabbit hole, and then watching Good Night Hausen with Danhausen so many times. Yes, and then Danhausen on Conan. And, Danhausen is Danhausen. And
that dude, I mean, he gets it. I mean, he totally gets it. And he literally
Christopher Massachusetts.
Twitch channels, I mean, his YouTube channel, just all kinds of different little shows and stuff. And just seeing him at, like, the cons and stuff with the other wrestlers is just great. Just seeing how they react to him. And, like, him just, like, going through the actual con and, like, meeting John Cena. I was fucking dying, man. I was like, I love this guy. He's very nice, very evil.
Oh, yeah. He's, if you know, I don't do a whole lot on Twitter, but the wife does, and she follows him, and it's pretty damn funny if you get on Twitter during pretty much any episode of Dynamite or Rampage. He'll kind of live tweet it a little bit and throw out some funny stuff as it's happening. He's got some good commentary. So,
I'm sure.
Yeah.
The dude is charismatic as fuck and can think off the top of his head really quickly. He's tailor-made for this kind of shit.
Mm-hmm. He's quick-witted for sure. And just for everyone, in the vein of Danhausen himself, I wish everyone a belated Merry Christopher, Massachusetts.
Yes. Happy holidays and Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, all that.
Festivus? Can't forget
Festivus, the Festivus.
I mean, Biggie and Kevin Owens have been sporting Festivus stuff this year.
Oh, for sure. And that Seinfeld wrestling group on Facebook's been going crazy about it.
I know. Owens for the rest of the shirt on recently, and then Big E's had in Seinfeld gear for goddamn from I think Survivor Series or some shit. He's doing Seinfeld. So they've been losing their fucking mind. And I love that group. If anyone listening is not a friend of the Seinfeld Wrestle Posting group, fucking do yourself a favor and join it. If you hate Seinfeld, then fuck off. I mean, you don't want to fucking look at it anyway. But if you like Seinfeld, do
it. I have to agree with Will.
I mean, maybe you'll get some converts, you know, come for the wrestling, stay for the Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Okay. It's the wrestling group about nothing.
That's right.
We can go ahead and start with a little WWE news before we dive into the meat of what today's episode is going to be. The three of us and our respective thoughts, etc., on the massive Elevation Dynamite and Rampage Holiday Bash taping from this past week. Because it was great. Those weird WWE transitional talents, where it's like you bend or replace somebody,
Oh yeah, they needed somebody to replace Sergeant Slaughter, and nothing against Kirshner. I mean, for Christ's sakes, Sarge was G.I. Joe.
It's hard to follow that up.
It's hard to follow. Yeah, it's very hard to follow that. It's like, nothing against your work, buddy. And I mean, he was a legit dude. But I don't think he had the charisma either that Sarge had. But I mean, they had him up against Nikolai Volkov, and that's not easy work.
No, not in the least.
Yeah. So I hate to hear that news. I mean, 64 is still pretty young, in my opinion. So I hate to hear that about the guy. But I hadn't seen really anything probably since the 80s, to be quite honest, as a kid.
It's true. I'd say that's about the same here. Like I said, the most recent shit I've seen is just through some of the action figure groups I'm in. Apparently there's like 3 different versions of his LJN figure.
Wow, that's crazy. Is the LJN, is that the giant rubber, or is that the... Yeah,
the ones that you can knock a motherfucker out with.
Right, yeah. The big giant rubber with... I had, as a kid, I had Andre the Giant, and not the heel Andre, it was like the blue tights, Afro Andre.
Oh, yeah.
And I had Greg the Hammer Valentine, and you could literally, I think I probably did smack my brother upside the head with one when we were kids. So yeah, I could.
Yeah, you could probably make someone concussed with one of those things.
Oh, for sure.
But yeah, when it comes to the LJN figures, they're ridiculous, man. Because with Andre, there's like fucking 3 versions, I think.
Wow.
If I'm remembering correct. Could be wrong, and I guarantee you if there's someone that happens to give a shit and wants to interact and listen to the show that knows figures more than me, they'll probably say something. But
well, I mean, honestly, I only remember 2, but there probably was 3. I mean, they did do a lot of those, so...
Yeah, with Blue Trunks Andre, there's long hair and short hair.
Yeah, okay, there's a short hair version of the Blue Trunks, okay.
And then there's the Black Strap Andre.
Yeah.
That's the rarest of them all. Blackstrap is the money Andre.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is odd. Like it's very, Andre is like, he's 40 or 42, I can't remember, around that time when he's got the black strap, and, he was told he would die at 40, and he's living like, I mean, he's definitely at the tail end of his career, like meeting Hogan and letting Hogan carry the flag, after that WrestleMania. But, I mean, still, he was like one of the biggest draws there ever was. And had a farm here in North Carolina.
And
crazy.
If I remember correctly from the Andre documentary that was on HBO, which if you haven't watched it, it's fucking amazing.
I have not, but I do need to watch it.
It'll kick your feels in the dick. Let's put it that way.
I'm sure it will, man. I mean, that dude was in so much pain at the end of his life. The amount of alcohol that he consumed was insane. But when you're a giant, I guess you can drink all that. But.
Yeah, I mean, there's all those pictures of him from his life, where he's got like the can in his hand, and I mean, it looks like a toy or something.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't look real.
It's just unreal.
I mean,
yeah.
The Super 7 action figure came with a scale-sized can of Molson that you could put in his hand.
Oh my god!
Oh shit!
and literally, like, his hand dwarfs that can. And like, I've got that figure, and I took the can and actually put it in my Hangman Page's hand, and it looks the right size in Hangman's hand.
That's cool.
So it is a perfectly in-scale can of beer.
I know Boogie Woogie Man, Jimmy Valiant, has a cast of Andre's hand at his museum. It's crazy just to see the sheer size of his hand. Just amazing.
But to quote Marv from Sin City, they're fucking mitts.
Yep.
The mitts, yeah.
They've gone beyond hands. They've become mitts. Yep. But I digress. R.I.P. to Roker. Now, other things. Vince McMahon is selling his home for $35 million.
That's crazy. That's just crazy.
Yeah, it's happening. I know Verzi and Don shared it. I told, I mentioned, I think he was like, damn, that's cheap. Because that house is fucking huge.
Right?
It's goddamn enormous.
Still, that's a good chunk of change. I could only live off the rest of my life just probably 10% of that.
He's probably downgrading
many
to
of us
retain some talent or rebuild.
Yes.
You got to liquidate when times get rough.
I'm wondering if he's finally taking that old man trip to Florida. I wonder if that's what's going on.
As I've said many times, the south you go, further north you get, so it's only a matter of time.
Yeah, I'm just wondering where he's going now. Hell? Is that where he's going?
Not quite yet, but probably soon enough. So,
I tried to look up the several wrestlers they talked about that were recently mentioned, but for this week's show, there are only 6 producers right now out of their usual amount. It doesn't say what the usual amount is, but I'd assume it's quite a few more than 6.
Right.
So that's inevitably going to lead to some rewrites, and it also talked about how several superstars like Reigns, Rollins, Lynch, and Big E were absent from the company's holiday tour live events. And it just says that the company looks to be in for a difficult couple of weeks due to COVID.
Wow.
Yeah. My main thoughts go towards the Day 1 event coming up on Saturday.
Yeah.
And wondering how this might affect that.
Ooh.
I mean, looking at the card, I'm not fucking excited for it at all, but me and Grayson talked about that last episode, so it is what it is.
The only thing that I remember that even pops is Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, that was probably the big one. I mean, most of the other stuff was just the usual ho-hum stuff, man. There's nothing that's really jumped out at me by any means.
At least the Roman Brock is a decent storyline thing going on. They're really putting a lot of effort into that one. So, but let's see how, like I said, going into the pay-per-view, what changes after.
Yeah. Now, I know Grayson's thoughts on it, I believe, but what are your thoughts on Farmer Braun? Not Farmer Braun, but Farmer Brock. I'm sorry, Farmer Brock.
Farmer Brock. I knew who you meant. Does anybody else think his head looks like an onion when he puts that ponytail on top of his head? Am I the only one who thinks that?
He looks like a fucking chotched out Daniel Bryan.
Right. He looks like he ate Daniel Bryan. That's what he looks like.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't dig the farmer look here he's been sporting lately.
I mean, other than the man bun, it's probably the most accurate look he's ever had because, I mean, he lives on a fucking farm in the middle of nowhere.
It's true, but where he has his like home gym, he also has like the Slayer emblem painted on the wall. So,
yeah.
So that part of me is like, what? No.
I mean,
but no, I do get it. But yeah, the top knot or whatever the fuck's going on up on the top of his head, and I guess he's just trying to grow his hair out long. And as someone with long hair, you have to go through the awkward stage. But damn,
yes, I remember the awkward stage all too well because I think at the longest I ever had my hair, like center of my back long. And I do remember the multiple awkward phases where my dad would get pissed and make me get a haircut. So it definitely had to be grown back out multiple times.
Right. I have had it down to my ass long, and I cut 12 inches off for like Locks of Love. And so it would still be long, and I was like, I'll never grow it that long again.
that is too long. Corey had long hair. I remember those days too.
Yeah, I did it for a bit in college. Never really went back to it, but I did have kind of another stint with it in quarantine. I feel like everybody was kind of ignoring the haircuts for a while, and I'm like, okay, whatever, I'll do it again. And I got back to where I was having to tie it and stuff. But yeah, it doesn't work as well as it did in college. Getting a little older, hair's getting a little thinner. Not a great look. So
no, I'm not going to try and hold on to the past like Baron Corbin did for quite some time.
I was just about to make that. I was like, yeah, hey, at least Barry rocked it, man. He still looked like a badass during that time of his career.
I mean, he did, but I was just like, dude, just cut your hair.
Just shave your head. But I tell my wife all the time, I was like, if I go bald, I'm rocking the Hulk Hogan, Devin Townsend skullet look, like when Devin Townsend was in Strapping Young Lad.
Oh, boy.
Now, see, I've told my wife the same thing. I tell her that I'm going to go for the Hogan, and I can grow the mustache out the same, and she gets furious. Yeah, she's
yeah, my wife is. Yeah, she's not thrilled by that at all.
Yeah, she doesn't even like me to kid about it. She's serious. It's all right.
Let me tell you something, honey.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah, I don't think the impersonation would help sell it. I'm pretty sure.
Right. Yeah, rip your T-shirt, see how it goes.
Yeah, exactly. I'll get back to you probably from my car, living at the park or something. So
yeah, I was about to say, Corey, when I met you at the Holiday Bash, I had my wife, because I was dressed up as Santa Claus. I had her basically like bun my hair up on top of my head real tight.
Gotcha.
I was wearing the Santa hat. So, but I remember telling her too, I was like, no pictures. No one can ever see this.
That's taking a risk then, doing that at a wrestling show.
Very, very much so.
That's not always under your control.
Yeah, that's true. You take that risk.
Yeah. You got to roll the dice from time to time.
Yeah, you got to roll the dice from time to time. I mean, life ain't worth living if you don't take chances.
There you go.
And that's a hard, fun time to follow up. But I guess the last little bit of WWE shit that I've seen and heard of this week, and surprisingly enough, I talked with fucking Wes about it today at Lowe's Hardware.
Oh, Wes.
Because I fucking ran into Wes.
The damn champ.
The damn champ himself. One of the OG hosts. Old Wild West. But also, it was in the news article where Cornette was talking about AEW and what they could gain if they were to get a hold of Paul Heyman as someone in creative there. And Wes was telling me, because in the article that I read, I don't remember seeing it, but Wes was telling me that Cornette mentioned on his podcast that theoretically, if they could trade people to get Heyman, like literally like a fantasy trade a la baseball, he would say they should trade Sammy, Britt Baker, and Powerhouse Hobbs, and one other that I can't fucking remember right now. But 4 people. Those 3 that I mentioned for sure, and then the 4th one that just slips my mind right now is trade those 4 for Heyman. And he believes that right there would be a pretty fair trade. I said, keep Britt, trade the rest.
Keep Britt, trade the rest.
Yeah.
I like Britt as a heel better than I did a babyface. I wasn't sold as a babyface. I thought that was horrible. I didn't think her match was way good. Now. And then now I definitely like her more, but they would just totally ruin her in WWE. I think right now.
I know. She would just be a jobber. I mean, hell, like I was just reading an article the other day about Ty Conti of all people, and I forgot she actually worked in WWE before the pandemic.
Didn't she work?
She was one of the first waves of releases at the beginning of the pandemic.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she wrestled in like the Mae Young Classic, I believe it was, and one of the women's battle royals.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, she legit worked for WWE, and then end of 2020 is when she came to AEW.
Okay.
So I totally forgot. I honestly thought she was straight into everything. But
right. Yeah, it seems like I remember that because that was around the time that, what was the Japanese girl who did the high elevation flying elbow off the top rope during that time? It was like that really high. She jumped really high and dropped an elbow from the top rope. And it was during that Mae Young Classic. And I was like, that's impressive.
Was it EO or one of the ones that's already there?
I can't remember. Save my life.
I can't.
She had a little pirate-looking gimmick.
Yeah. I feel like that might have been Io Shirai.
Okay. I just have, I have been keeping up with WWE a lot lately. So,
I mean, truly, out of the three of us, God love him, John held it together for us when it came to WWE news, because there's no single person that I know of that can imbibe as much wrestling as that man.
I used to, a long time ago, I absorbed it pretty heavily. Back in the days, it was like ECW, WCW, WWF, and
I'll rib him for it, but fuck, every week he watches every episode that comes out of the WWE programming, all the AEW programming, Impact, and whatever the fuck else he needs to watch wrestling. I mean, just like, that is so many.
And how many times do we see him in the what do they call it?
Back when Thunderdome was on?
Thunderdome, yeah. Thunderdome.
Every goddamn week. Every fucking week. Sometimes
and then we would play Find Douchebag because they kept replaying the same dude's shit over and over again.
Classic segment. Find the douchebag.
Find the douchebag. Yeah, John, man. John knows his shit with that stuff, and he keeps up with it. But for me, it's like I'm casually, like, I watched SmackDown in its entirety for the first time just recently because we were at my wife's grandmother's house for Christmas, and she just happened to have it on Fox. And it come on, and I was like, kind of getting caught up a little bit there. And seeing how the production of the show is now and whatnot. Yeah. And I got to see your girl Charlotte work. For everybody who knows, Will is in love with Charlotte. He calls her Ashley, to me, personally.
You're going to get me killed.
Sorry. If anybody knows Will at all, he can't stand Charlotte.
Not at all. Not in the least. The Queen of Plastic is not anybody that I enjoy watching.
Right. But I love aggravating the shit out of you.
You do. There are a handful of things you can get me going on. One of them is that. What's the other one? Probably how much I hate Brock Lesnar.
I've never cared for Lesnar either. I've never cared for how he really doesn't respect his business. It's just money for him.
Yeah, it really is money for him. 100%. There's another one, but surprisingly, for me being the person that's triggered by it, I must be mentally blocking it out because I can't think of it right now. And
right.
Thank God.
I'm sure it'll come up. We'll see if it comes up.
We'll see. We'll let it happen organically instead of
we'll let it happen organically. For sure.
But that's pretty much all the WWE shit that I've seen recently. Because other than just seeing wonderful Seinfeld references, I can give two shits.
Right.
I mean, when it comes,
there's some still good in-ring work. I can't say there isn't.
No, there is. There for sure is. But out of the ring writing and shit like that,
Yeah. Yeah, it's boring. It's just boring.
Yeah.
I'm not entertained by the storylines. I mean, when Roman Reigns is the most interesting storyline you have, there's a problem. For me,
that's probably.
I'm never giving a shit about a storyline by him, And then I see this, I'm like, I'm somewhat interested, and I hate both of these guys. That's what's wrong with WWE.
Yeah. I mean, people that'll defend it will be like, well, that means they did a good job. I'm like, no, it didn't. It just means that it is morbid curiosity. I hate them so much that I'm going to look and see how bad this can be.
Right.
There's a difference between morbid curiosity and success.
For sure.
But before I get off on a Roman Reigns tangent, because that's the one. That's the motherfucker. That's what I can think of.
There you go.
I honestly, people, I saw him cock his arm like a shotgun at the AEW show. It was really embarrassing.
Oh God, I hate you.
That's why we didn't get on camera. He was just up there doing Roman Reigns gestures.
Right. It's like, no, don't show that guy.
Fuck that guy. He'll be doing with a Warhouse insert on that fucking WWE mark. Oh God. But to move to more enjoyable waters, I've got a couple small things, New Japan related, and Corey, I know you know a little bit of New Japan, as in Chapel Cory, not Corey. I don't know how much you know, Corey.
We're gonna have to come up with some other names here, but I'll be honest. I went to a house show. About 2 years ago, and I think that is the last time that I've watched anything for New Japan. So it's been a while. Definitely not something that I'm keeping up with.
New Japan is wrestling. It's good.
Excuse me.
Oh, I mean, it was good when I went and watched it. Yeah, I think a lot of it just has to do with ease of access. How it's not necessarily the most accessible, like unless you're gonna watch it on the internet and whatnot. So.
The other thing is with New Japan, if you just want to single out, like if you go to their streaming service, just want to single out certain things, you can easily do that. Like if you just want to look up fucking Bullet Club shit, you can just watch all sorts of Bullet Club matches without going back and watching every single fucking show. They do a good job of pulling out some of the best matches from different programs just so you can watch those.
Oh, that's handy.
Yeah, I mean, you can go all the way back to watching the Hogan matches like you saw in that picture on that old wrestling magazine. You can go back and watch those.
Oh yeah, you'll get to see
way back.
It's wild.
I think they've got stuff all the way back to '72 when they first started on there.
Wow, that's crazy. That's awesome. I mean, you used to. For me, it was always a treat to see guys from Japan in the States, like. As a country bumpkin growing up, and you watched whatever, like my aunt lived in California and I didn't have cable, and she had cable or satellite in California, and she would tape the WCW pay-per-views or WWF pay-per-views and record them on tape and ship them to me from California.
Oh man.
Damn.
I mean, I have like the old, WCW, like the Halloween Havoc was at 92, whenever they had the electrified cage. Not the cage was electrified. They had the fucking electric chair, and they put Abdullah the Butcher in it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. It was ridiculous. It was the most ridiculous thing ever. As a kid, I thought.
You can't call that ridiculous when you remember the Yeti.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the Yeti's the worst thing ever.
Yes. The Yeti is the worst. But yeah, I mean, we didn't have it either. We we had nothing until '94, and that's when my dad got a satellite.
That's kind of ironic. I think it was around 94, 95 when we got satellite.
Yeah, we got satellite, and then within like a year or two, my dad bought the the card breakers, and I learned how to fucking unlock satellite cards, and so I was unlocking.
Oh, that's cool.
The house, and so I had free pay-per-views all the time then, and that was right during the heat of everything.
Oh yeah,
like we saw like the Hogan heel turn pay-per-view live
Right.
And all that shit. So we were watching those pay-per-views for free. We were taping some of them. Those tapes are long gone now. But watching all that shit. And then before that, it was just a matter of like, you know, I just remember following it and just, it was just hearsay, basically. I wasn't able to watch it anywhere because we didn't have fucking cable and they didn't play it on regular television anymore.
Well, for me, you could get a Saturday morning show. I remember even way before like that, like the late 80s and shit, you could watch cartoons and then you could watch both WCW and WWF on the same television station, like an hour of each show. Oh, that's unheard of now. You know what I mean? They don't do shit like that now. But back then it was like, you know, you bought time for a television spot, you know. And I just remember it was cool to watch like cartoons as a kid, and then went right into pro wrestling. And it was always like the shows were only an hour, and they would just kind of give you the gist of what's going on, basically.
Most of it was just a clip show from the week of the cable programming. They'd pick some of the better matches and then play some like random vignettes. It was basically the highlight reel of the week. That's what you got on. For
sure. Yeah, it was basically the infomercial to get you to go and buy the pay-per-view or come to the shows.
Yeah, it was goddamn Superstars or some other shit.
Superstars. And I think maybe it might have been the Power, like the WCW Power Hour or some shit like that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I still got to see so many matches, but most of the time they were jobber matches for heels and baby faces, you know.
A lot of fucking squash matches.
So many.
Oh, man. But
that was the time. That was the time. Now it's called Dark and Dark Elevation.
That's right.
Oh, no, they're better than that. There are a lot of squash matches. But to bring it back around, New Japan, like, I knew about it only because WCW in the late 90s were the only ones that talked about it.
For sure.
And because they actually did stuff with them. But New Japan now, going into Wrestle Kingdom, it's got some good shit. Because, one, Katsuyori Shibata, the guy that helped train Kenta, is coming out of retirement for a special match at Wrestle Kingdom.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
And he set up special match stipulations. Like, just recently, like, I believe it was just before Best of Super Juniors, it was like right towards the end of G1, he had a special exhibition grappling match with Zack Sabre Jr., where they literally just had a grappling wrestling match in street clothes in the ring.
Oh, wow.
And it was fucking great. If you know how ZSJ works, you already know it was one of the most technical fucking matches you'd see, and Shibata's much the same.
Right.
Well, he's gone one further this time. It's not going to be a grapple match. It's going to be a 100% catch wrestling match.
Oh, wow.
So, 0 striking is allowed. No punches, no kicks. It's all grapples and throws, and using the rope. And you can only, and the only way to win, pinfall or submission.
Interesting.
Yep. I have the highest of hopes for that match. It's the match I'm looking forward to the most.
Remember when, like, back in the early UFC days, occasionally somebody's like thing would be catch wrestling, and you know you don't hear that anymore. You know what I mean? Like,
no, I mean the only times you hear it are when like JR will talk about catch as catch can wrestling. You know, the British style, things like that, and you'll hear about that during some New Japan commentary. But you don't hear about the various styles behind pro wrestling anymore.
I mean, you take like the, you know, back from probably like the 50s through the 70s, there was catch wrestling in actual pro wrestling.
You don't hear about the different styles of like wrestling anymore. Like, you hear about it more now in AEW, for sure, and you hear about it a lot in New Japan, and you heard about it quite a bit in ROH. But anywhere else, no.
Well, I mean, back in the day, though, somebody like Lou Thez, you know, you better be a better wrestler than him if he decides he don't want to drop the title. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they were legit.
Yeah. I mean, sure.
Recently, it was Lou Thez was 74 wrestling Masahiro Chono, and he looked pretty damn decent for a guy who was 74.
Yeah.
So there's just like some guys they got it, you know?
Yeah.
They're just legit badasses. I was like, damn, he was 74 years old and he was moving pretty decently.
I mean,
he wasn't the old Lou Thez of old, but he was definitely not looking like a super old man in the ring. I was very impressed because I always thought a lot of Masa Chono back in the day, like, you know, he'd come to WCW occasionally.
Mm-hmm. He would.
And I think he had a run against Rick Rude that was pretty interesting when they actually brought the NWA title back into WCW for a smidge.
Yeah, that was that weird, like, late pop right before NWA went over to, like, TNA and Impact.
Oh, yeah, it's a very strange time for NWA, you know. But it's like, I think Rude and Chono switched the title back and forth there for a minute. Because I think, you know, I think one reason they brought it in is because they didn't want to drop the actual title off Rick.
Yeah.
Flair, that is, you know. The WCW title. And so that was another way to get Rick Rude over. Rick was great, man. I miss that dude.
I mean, both Ricks were amazing in their own way, but
for sure.
But Rude definitely didn't get his due, and honestly, his career was cut short. So,
but anything else? Is anything going on with Ospreay right now?
Ospreay is he will be wrestling at Wrestle Kingdom. He's going to be going up against either Okada or Shingo.
Okay. Well, either would be a pretty decent match.
Yeah. And Ospreay right now is still working I'm still the IWGP Heavyweight Champion with the new belt. I never lost it. I had to go overseas, and they said I vacated it due to injury. And put it on you, so you're a fake champion.
Right. The old Shawn Michaels Razor Ramon Intercontinental title.
Yeah, so he's carrying around that belt. He's also got fucking 4 other title belts right now from Rev Pro and a couple other smaller indie promotions in England. The dude is just fucking draped in fucking belts. Like, he's the closest I've seen to goddamn 90s Ultimo Dragon.
Ultimo Dragon, that's what I was about to say.
And Corey, I don't know if you know about 90s Ultimo Dragon, but just go ahead and look up Ultimo Dragon with all the belts on Google, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, because he had 10 fucking title belts at one time.
Yeah, Kenny Omega couldn't touch this shit.
No. There is no belt collector that will ever touch Ultimo Dragon's and pre-run. God damn.
I'm still upset about how WWE handled him, man. That was... his run there sucked so bad.
I loved it. I mean, I loved it in the sense that I loved Ultimo Dragon.
Yeah, I loved Ultimo Dragon,
and
but
WWE
it just wasn't the same thing. It's like they didn't know what they had. At least WCW was smart enough to know what they had.
I know. WWE fucked him so hard.
And then, they fucked him so hard, like, afterwards when he would go down to AAA, if he did any of that shit he did on WWE TV, they booed him.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is not fair, guys.
I know.
This is not his fault.
No, not at all. But to go back to New Japan, the other big thing that I've got for Wrestle Kingdom that I'm excited about as well is the Junior Heavyweight Tag Title match. Because, one, it's Bullet Club in that match. It's Taiji Ishimori, a.k.a. Bone Soldier, and ELP, El Phantasmo.
Yep.
One of my favorite Bullet Club members right now. Love him. going up against the strangest tag team that I can think of right now. Robbie Eagles, the former Bullet Club member, and Tiger Mask 4.
Well, I was going to say Effie and Danhausen, but that's pretty weird too.
Mm-hmm. They are known as Team Flying Tiger.
Wow.
Yep, it makes sense. It's a cool team name. But they are the current IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champions. Or tag team champions.
Well, I'm out of the loop.
Yeah, but they did their press conference, like the pre-match contract signings, etc. Uh-huh. And if you know anything about El Phantasmo, you know he is one of those, like, almost childish to an extent, like, mocking heels. That's the way he does it. He, like, legit just, like, mocks people like that. Uh-huh. Well, he did the entire interview in a tiger mask.
Wow. Jeez.
Yes. So he was making fun of Tiger Mask in a Tiger Mask.
Wow. Oh, the lineage. Like, how dare he?
I was like, I love you, El Phantasmo. I love Tiger Mask and I love El Phantasmo. Oh, it's beautiful. But that's pretty much all the news that I've got, really. That's all the big stuff that I am excited about, or I thought was interesting throughout the past week or so. So right. That brings us to the meat and potatoes of this episode. Fucking Holiday Bash.
Oh, man. What a time.
Now, Corey, was this your first AEW show?
Yeah, first AEW show.
All right. How did you like it?
Not disappointed. I will say 4 hours is a hell of a lot of wrestling for one sitting.
Agreed.
And I mean, it wasn't actually I'm trying to think when I found this out. I did not know until, say, within maybe the last 2 to 3 months that the live events packed in essentially 3 different shows in one ticket. And it makes a whole lot of sense. You'll see some of these articles for, when Rampage isn't necessarily great, because I guess Rampage is always the last thing that they do for these shows. Yeah. You'll see people like starting to leave during some of the matches, and people online will be like, "Oh, AEW sucks. People are leaving." No, it's because they're on hour 4 of wrestling, and they just got off coming from 2 hours of their live show, where they're trying to get you hyped the whole time.
I know. It's like, how many times did Tony Khan pop out during that one little?
I know.
Like at least 2 times to get us to the hype back up, but we've fucking blown our throats out for the fucking Sting match, like not 20 minutes before. Like we were dead.
And like, other than the fact that it would throw off the TV schedule and all that, I would almost say they should reverse it and do, save like the Dark Elevation for last, but. Those tend to be smaller matches, so you might get people leaving left and right, that don't want to stay for the end.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it was good. It's definitely worth it. If anyone's thinking about checking out a show when it comes through your town, go. It's definitely good to watch live. It's fun. But, it's a lot. But, at the same time, though, it's a good value proposition. I mean, those tickets we had weren't crazy expensive, maybe $60 or something a pop for 4 hours. I mean, that's not bad at all.
That's not bad at all. I mean, hell, in some places that's almost like the price of 2 people's movie tickets. So
yeah, for real.
I mean, I shit you not. When I went and saw Ghostbusters last month, my movie ticket was $21 before tax. And I was like, when in the fuck did it jump up $7 fucking? Because I went to the same theater, like, I'm going to say before everything went to shit, and the tickets were only $14 or $15. But they were $21.50 now for a basic showing, not one of the premium showings. Basic.
Wow. I was going to say, did you go to IMAX?
Well, what's fun? No. Better. No, sorry. IMAX. The IMAX one I saw was $19.50. Basic was $21.50.
What?
Hey, I wasn't going to knock the fact that someone fucked up pricing. But, yeah, both tickets were way more than they should have been. But I got IMAX for $19.50 when basic was $21.
That's crazy.
That's before fees through Fandango or Carmike, whatever the fuck it was. AMC. Before fees, base ticket cost. So, I mean, if you're looking at $20 some odd for a fucking 2-hour movie, I mean, it stands to reason if you're going to a live event, $60 for a fucking mid-tier seat and for 4 hours of wrestling. I'm like, yeah, that's fucking economical as shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, even more so. I think their prices start at like $30 if you want, the higher up stuff.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's next to nothing for 4 hours.
Mm-hmm. One day I'll get goddamn ringside. I want a ringside seat at least fucking once, and I'll be happy after that.
We got pretty lucky. We were on the side the hard camera was pointing at, so we got on the show a few times. Our signs, me and my buddy. He was dressed as Buddy the Elf, and I was Santa Claus.
Yeah, we were
with a
also
CM Punk shirt and red suspenders, and I actually was watching the newest episode of BTE today, and when they were showing when Kyle O'Reilly showed up for the Orange Cassidy Adam Page match, Adam Cole, not Adam Page, Jesus, Adam Cole, baby. That was amazing, by the way. I was very happy to see Kyle there. And right there on BTE, you can see all of us there. And I was like, oh, great, I'm on BTE. I'm more excited about that than I was on Dynamite.
We were on the hard cam side, too. It's just we were a little further up. So I kept looking to try and find me because I know I was about an equivalent distance up at about every show that I've been at so far. Of the 3 AEW shows I've been to, I've been about the same distance away from the ring every time, about the same exact fucking location. I didn't rewatch Dynamite to see if I got on TV, but I know I rewatched fucking Rampage, and we definitely didn't. But, yeah, I kept trying, but I haven't heard anything yet. So, who knows? Who knows?
Yeah. Apparently, some people said they seen us because my buddy had a sign that said, Merry Christmas, you filthy animals, and I had a sign that said, Die Hard is a Christmas movie. Justin Robertson pointed me out. That was pretty cool.
I was going to ask if that was that because I remember I remember him saying that in the ring. I couldn't see, who he was pointing to from where we were at, but
I think when he said that, I may have pointed over to that sign, Corey.
Yeah, that was me.
That's funny though. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Hey, small world.
Because overall I was entertained even by the Dark Elevation stuff. So
yeah, I'm trying my best to remember who all was on the fucking card, and I cannot.
Dark Order and the Gun Club.
Mm-hmm.
That was interesting. Billy Gunn's 50-some years old, and that dude is in the most amazing shape. I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous, honestly.
I mean, he dwarfs his sons, man. He's so jacked. I think Matt Hardy, I'm trying to think of who he worked.
Matt Hardy went up against one Darius Lockhart.
Lockhart. Okay.
Yeah, I remember now. Yeah.
They had a decent little match. I mean, it was, nothing to shout.
He was the
crowd was like crazy behind Hardy.
Yeah, I mean, the hometown boy.
Yeah.
I mean, it was crazy. It was just crazy how over he was for that one little match. And, Matt still got it, He's at the latter part of his career.
Yeah.
I think. But, I mean, he's always still entertaining. I mean, he's stayed relevant this long. I do. I do like broken Matt Hardy myself, or woken Matt Hardy, even better.
See, I enjoy the big money Matt gimmick, but the thing that kills me, with big money Matt is, he'll cut his promos wearing like a nice suit. He's got his hair tied back and stuff, but he still comes out to the ring wearing cut off shirts and cargo pants. It's like it doesn't. You got to pick one or the other. They don't go well together.
He needs to come out to the ring like Andrade.
Yeah, although Andrade gets me for another reason, though, because he does come out in a suit that needs to be taken off quickly. I feel like having a suit that Velcros in the back is one piece also kind of defeats the purpose.
Well, maybe he just needs to mark Cesaro from about 10 years ago where he just ripped the suit off.
No. What Corey needs to see is Tetsuya Naito at any main event in New Japan. Right. He rolls out in a solid white suit and he takes it off because it's a legit suit. Bit by bit, he takes off the jacket, the fucking vest underneath, the button-up shirt, right. And then the only thing that's breakaway are the suit pants.
Interesting.
Right.
See, yeah, I would buy something like that because I don't know. To me, it seems silly. Like his assistant takes it off for him, and it makes it look cheap. But at least he's trying. Matt Hardy, on the other hand, I don't know what he's thinking. But
I will say this: even though his suit top is tearaway, it doesn't look like it.
It doesn't, but then he does.
But once it tears away, you're kind of like, that's weird.
Although, too, I gotta say though, when the top's gone and he's just wearing the pinstripe pants, to me it makes me think almost of like the old Yankees uniforms, like Babe Ruth era, and that's funny in its own right. And he's fun to watch, but it's funny to pick this stuff apart.
It is.
What I was gonna say though, kind of getting back to Matt Hardy, I was actually sort of glad to see him, on Elevation against a jobber, because it just seems like so much lately, it's been all this feuding with Orange Cassidy, and he's going to lose almost all the time. Yeah. I don't know, Matt Hardy isn't great in the ring anymore, in my opinion, but I still like watching him. I still like rooting for him, so it's fun to kind of know that he was going to win one, and not worry about just getting made look bad. So
I know this one's notching the belt for old Matt, so I'm happy.
Well, Matt still, I think, but they had that. What was the match where they worked with? It was like the filmed one. You know what I mean? They filmed it before the pay-per-view.
Oh,
are you talking about the Stadium Stampede?
Yeah.
You're talking about
Proud and Powerful literally kill Matt Hardy, and then he's resurrected as broken Matt
5
Hardy.
or 6 times.
Yeah. And then he was like all this version 1 gimmick, just all that shit. It was hilarious, but I was like, oh my god, this is so over the top ridiculous.
That whole segment was amazing, in my opinion. The Stadium Stampede. But Matt Hardy was real weird in that one. Put him in the wheelchair, like, I have bound you to the chair of wheels. Like,
it was great, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's good stuff.
I love that kind of shit from every one of the compound matches have been, they've been entertaining. I mean, you can't say they're great matches, but they're just entertainment in its purest form. Yeah, and you got to give it to them for originality because nobody else was doing that shit.
Not at all.
Now it's been ripped off how many times now?
Hell, the fucking Wyatt family ripped it off 3 or 4 times.
And it's true, and I like the Wyatt family stuff, but I didn't really dig that shit. I really didn't. And I guess you just can't beat an original.
Yeah, that's true.
I was happy to see Dark Order come out twice in one night.
Twice, yeah. Early. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, we got Alan Angels and 10 in that first match.
Yep.
Where they fucking
Johnny Hungy.
Yeah. They fucking
10 is jacked, man. Jesus Christ, is he jacked?
He is a big motherfucker.
I was like, just live, I was like, oh my god, sooner or later, they're going to push this guy to something else. They just got to. He looks like $1 million, man.
He's just got to get his fucking ring work dialed in.
Yeah. It's still not quite there.
Look at it this time last year. Awful. This time.
Oh, yeah. I mean, now he can work a decent match. But he's not took that extra step yet. You know what I mean?
No, he's got to get that something that really sends him over. I mean, he's got a lot more personality now.
I don't know what he looks like without the mask on.
I saw it today.
If he's a good-looking dude, that might be something to do. You know what I mean? Drop the mask, show some actual.
He could definitely pull if he needs.
Sometimes the mask is the charisma. You know what I mean? But sometimes people need to see your face. They need to see your emotions, and it's hard to see that in a mask. Now, a lot of people can get that over.
Now, Chapel, to put it in the most raw terms possible, if you were asking what he looks like, he could pull if he needed to. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Okay.
He could pull it if he needed to.
But I was just like, damn. I mean, this looks like a guy Vince would have seen in the fucking 80s and 90s and would have been like, oh, yeah, I can do something with this guy.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Because you don't have to be the greatest to be a legend, you know, in that type of situation.
Not at all. And then
I mean, we all remember Lex Luger.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm a Luger fan, but I knew his limitations. You know what I mean?
No doubt.
But I've heard Ric Flair say so many times it's not Luger's fault. He was like, it's just like Goldberg. They threw him in the spotlight so fast he didn't get time to learn and talk properly. And he was like, that wasn't Luger's fault.
Yeah,
Luger looked like $1 million. And if it wasn't for like people like Ric Flair, you know, he'd have never been anywhere.
Yeah, Luger. Downside with Luger, he got a big head about it, and then he stopped. He refused to take bumps for anybody.
I know. I know. Yeah, that happens to guys, man. Fucking ego.
I know. But yeah, that match was a lot of fun. Seeing just 10 just crush people, and Alan Angels, since he dropped the mask, I like him 1,000 times more now.
Yeah, for sure. He definitely, like I said, since he dropped the mask, you get the emotions better, you know. And I think it's really, he looks better. He looks definitely better.
Yeah, I feel like before too long, 10 will probably lose the mask too, to where it'll work even more for Dark Order for Evil Uno to be the only one with a mask.
Right.
Because, I mean, the whole reason they had the mask to begin with is because when Evil Uno and Stu Grayson first showed up, they had the Creepers, and the Creepers were all these local jobbers that couldn't fucking work, and they lied to do it.
Oh, man. It sucks so bad, because I really like the Creeper chair.
I know.
I thought that was so cool, and I was like, oh, that's so cool, and I liked the Dark Order, but then, you know, then the comedy shit got over, and it just is what it is, you know, but it can only last for so long. That's the problem.
As long as they keep evolving the Dark Order, I'll be happy. It's just they've got to make sure that whatever they're doing, they're paying attention to what works and like transitioning over to that instead of trying to stay in one envelope. You know what I mean?
Right. Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I dug them when they were heels, but it's you cannot lie. It's not as over as it is now to people. You know, a lot of people they're back on BTE. You know, so that to me was one of the most entertaining parts of the whole being the elite. YouTube, you know, that was the Dark Order was killing it. They had to take them off for a while.
Yeah, and Corey,
YouTube.
Oh, I was going to say to your point about, you know, paying attention to what works and what doesn't. One thing, I haven't seen this happen again since. This was several months ago. I can't even remember what 2 shows it was on, but it was Dark Order members had, you know, back-to-back appearances. You know, whether it was Dynamite Rampage or, you know, a YouTube show and then Dynamite, but they pulled the exact same spot 2 shows in a row because it worked the first time, and that was awkward to me. It was one where you know, somebody would throw a kick and they'd catch the kick and then throw the foot to the ref, and like it was funny once, but then to see the exact same move like twice 2 episodes in a row was like, ooh, wait a minute.
Yeah, Well,
there
are times.
Yeah, it'd be different if it was like not televised, or it's I don't think they really do house shows, do they?
They're as of right now, the equivalent of their house shows are the darks,
right?
And so
that's what I was thinking.
The only house show they have is a regular dark, because it's filmed at their little compound they've got in Orlando now.
Right. I mean, it would be different if there was a lot of untelevised shows and you could get away with doing that spot.
Yeah, for sure. Because, I mean, it's going to be funny for each crowd that sees it. But
the
crowd is, a national audience.
Yeah.
But again, like I said, I've only seen them repeat an exact spot like that the 2 times. So hopefully that won't be a thing that keeps happening. But definitely a concern that they'll pay a little too much attention to what the crowd likes and just kind of like, oh, well, if it's good once, it's good twice. 3, 4, 5, 20 times.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
Yeah, I mean that's the other thing is with a lot of wrestlers, and I'll probably mention this again when we get to his match, but there are certain wrestlers who exactly what spots they're going to do in a match every time.
Yeah,
and I don't like when I know exactly what to expect and how it's going to happen almost every time. I don't like that. I mean, yes, do the moves you're known for, but fucking mix them up a little bit. They don't have to come in nearly the same goddamn order all the time. You don't have to do every one of them. You don't have to get your spots in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that AEW is kind of bad about. There are quite a few dudes who in their matches, they just go to get their spots in. And it kind of takes me out of it a little bit.
Yeah, and especially some of them tend to be, on the complex side. Like, the longer they are, I think the more it draws attention to the fact that they're just repeating it. It makes it worse.
Exactly. Yeah, some of them are for sure way too choreographed.
Yes.
Right.
And that ruins a lot of things for a lot of people match-wise.
Oh, yeah. I'm very
like
much
a little
not a fan
choreography.
of over choreography.
But when you get Young Bucks are real bad about overly choreographed matches. But there are times where I'm just like, nope, that's too much. You've crossed the line of my being able to suspend disbelief. The suspension of disbelief is gone now.
Yeah.
Yep.
You've left it behind. You've thrown the baby out with the bathwater. You've lost it. All things considered, those were the 2 big matches from Dark. I think, or did Thunder Rosa was on the main card, wasn't she? Or was she on Dark?
She was on both.
She was on both.
She was on both. Yep.
Oh, all right. She
worked. Which one? She worked. They had Jade Cargill come out. That was during Dark, right?
Yes. Yeah, where Jade was on the announcer's table.
Came out to the announcer's table.
Yep, yeah, that was on Dark, and then she, I'm like 99% sure she had a match on Dynamite as well. But maybe I'm getting my stuff confused.
I feel like she was only on that Dark match, because her match in the tournament is this week.
Right.
Maybe
so I think
thinking of.
Yeah, I think she just had that one match. Because Dynamite-wise, card, there is no Thunder Rosa on the card.
Right.
Okay, so maybe I'm just totally losing it. Not unheard of. That's all right.
It does happen. You get bombarded with pro wrestling information sometimes. That's what happens.
I just believe me. Oh, God. I'm going to do this real quick. So when it comes to Dynamite itself, if I were to go and put them in order from my favorite matches down to my least favorite, it's probably going to go, the main event was my number 1. The opening match was my number 2, which was Cassidy and Cole. Next would have been probably Black and Garrison, with Nyla Rose and Soho rounding it out.
So you put Malachi and Garrison's match above Soho and Nyla Rose?
Yes.
as a match and as like actual work going on, I think Nyla and Soho didn't do so bad. There was a few little
I mean, it's just.
But like to me, like the Malachi Garrison was basically a squash match.
It really was, even though I still wonder if Garrison didn't get legit hurt. But
I'm not sure. I know I heard some like talk about people were talking crap about Brian Pillman Jr. and I'm not really understanding it. People were talking about he looks recently out of shape. Maybe he has health problems. I'm like, what? I was like. I think they were over exaggerating, like him taking the kick from Malachi. I was like, I don't remember it looking that bad.
No,
I guess I need to go back and actually watch it.
I didn't think it looked that bad. But my reasoning for putting the matches in that order, mostly, it's not because I thought that the work with Nyla and Ruby was bad. It's just, for me, as much as I like Ruby, I don't think that was the best choice of like the finish for that match. I totally agree. I can agree with that. Yeah. So that, I mean, I'm glad in terms of my enjoyment of Ruby, which I know Corey does not agree with, but
it's true.
Yes, he's not a fan. But I still feel like it would have been more believable for this tournament to have Nyla go forward.
Agreed.
Because, as I said, I still believe Jade is going to win the tournament. Period.
I'm still like a Thunder Rosa.
Now, look, don't get me wrong.
That's who I want to win. But I feel like I'm with you in the sense that I feel like this is basically something to help get Jade Cargill over.
Yeah, from a personal standpoint, I want Thunder Rosa to win everything all the time.
Right.
Thunder Rosa is the best worker in the women's division.
I love her theme music. Jesus Christ, it's pretty metal.
Yeah, she's a fucking badass. I've been a fan of Thunder Rosa since the first time I saw her debut on fucking NWA Power.
Power Hour. Me too. That's where I seen her.
So. But it's just they've been pushing Jade. I'm not going to say they've been pushing her down our throats as bad as WWE's tried to do with Roman for years, but you know that they are trying to push her as this dominant powerhouse really, really, really hard.
Why wouldn't?
And for me,
I mean, she's still green as shit, but why wouldn't you?
And for me, it would make more sense for a final round to have powerhouse versus powerhouse.
Her and Nyla.
Yeah, that would make more sense to me. Now, the problem here is they're going to put Jade in there, and for me, it's going to be Jade versus Ruby in the finals.
Oh man!
And that right there just lends itself to Ruby working her ass off, getting the underdog pop, but still basically Jade crushing her power-wise.
Well, that was basically what we saw against Nyla Rose, except for the finish.
Yeah, so. I don't think it's going. Lightning's not going to strike twice.
Right.
That's the way I see it going down. It's going to be a similar setup, but this time Ruby's going to fall short and then transition back into the main title picture, or feud with Jade further to kind of really bump that TBS title up.
Oh, chase the heel champion. That's story as old as time.
Uh-huh. And for me, I still think Thunder Rosa's got enough heat with Britt Baker to kind of go after that. And I think Thunder Rosa is much more fitting in the main women's title picture as opposed to the TBS title picture.
Well, I mean, so Jade's a big old girl, but Thunder Rosa actually trains in MMA and has fights. So
yeah, I mean, realistically speaking, Thunder Rosa beat her ass 6 ways to Sunday.
Right.
But from a booking standpoint, I really feel like they're going to push Jade because she's the more homegrown talent, and they know that Thunder Rosa is a really good worker, and she can tell a good story and put Jade over for that much more.
Well, they're definitely putting money and time into Jade and building her up. Because they know how green she still is. And, I mean, she's athletic enough to get by in matches.
Yeah. And another thing that's going to help Jade out is a little bit of news that came out recently. Serena Deeb is doing most of the women's training in the back now.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, so she's basically the women's division trainer.
That's cool. AEW. You're going to see some of the best work out of the ladies now. I mean, first of all, there's a lot of lady wrestlers who are better than most of the men there. They are some tough girls, man, and I mean, they work snug. The one thing I hate to see from any female wrestler is that diva stomp. When they do, like the old WWE divas would do the same stomp when somebody was on the ground, where they kind of wave their arms and kind of kick downward at them. It always looked stupid to me. I was like, who the fuck kicks like that?
The one where they also oversold it, where they basically be doing a push-up with it, so it made it look like...
Yeah. That's the one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It used to drive me nuts. I hate to see that. These girls, you ain't gonna see Serena Deeb do that shit.
No, it's the cat fight stomp. That's all it is.
For sure. But I mean, so many girls did it. I mean, good girls who could actually work, like a Trish Stratus. Even she would do it from time to time. I mean, I think that's just how they were trained to do it at one point.
Yeah.
And
because honestly, like women's division, WWE women's division from late 90s into the 2000s, like I'm going to go all the way up to like say 2000. I'm going to give it up to 2009. I could be overshooting it a little bit. So for about a decade, it was basically just TNA. And I don't mean T, the letter N, and A, like total nonstop action. I mean tits and ass TNA. That's all it was for.
Well, I mean, speaking of the other TNA, total nonstop action, at one time, their female division was so good that they were talking about putting a split show at one time. It never happened, but it was actually in talks to do just an all-female show because the knockouts were bringing in ratings.
Yeah.
And actually having decent matches. So,
like women's wrestling right now is the best it's ever been.
It's true. I mean, it sucks because a lot of the girls from the 70s and 80s, well, hell, the 60s, Jesus Christ, those people like Mae Young, Jesus Christ.
Oh, yeah, we go that far back.
Tough women.
Yeah, we go that far back. It's like, that's when it was, like, first really kicking off, and they, they had that chip on their shoulder, something to prove. And that went for a while, and then they started getting overshadowed and thrown to the wayside by the men again. And that through the 80s, and we know how Medusa set everything off because she was pissed off about that shit. We saw how it fucked over Luna Vachon, and then
Luna Vachon. I mean, where would women be without Luna Vachon?
And
she wrestled like the toughest man out there. She was wild.
But I mean, it's the best it's been, and
it's true. It really is true. You're getting some of the best matches right now. I mean,
let's hear. We've heard your order, Chapel, because you had the flip with Black and the. And
I love, by the way, best entrance with the black metal.
Oh God, Malachi Black's entrance is the best.
I'm definitely I'm a mark for Aleister Black right now in AEW. I love the way this gimmick is going. And I love the entrance. But, yeah, that match was straight up just time filler.
Yeah,
basically.
It was. And secretly I was hoping that goddamn fucking Brody King was going to show up and just stomp a mud hole in the Varsity Blondes' ass. So it would create a feud between the Blondes and the House of Black.
Right.
But we didn't get that. We still got a great debut, but we didn't get that one. I was hoping for a 2-for-1 special, but no.
Didn't quite happen.
Now, Corey, your order best from Holiday Bash.
Oh, let's see. See, now I got to go back and remember as well. Yeah, definitely main event at the top. I mean, you're going to be hard pressed to beat that. Really, for a while, for the next couple of weeks, I would think. I would put Adam Cole and Orange Cassidy second, just because I'm a big fan of both of them. So that was just fun to watch. I mean, it probably didn't even really matter what they did in the ring. I would have enjoyed it. Match wise, I'd probably put Nyla and Ruby above the Malachi and Griff match, just because the Malachi and Griff match kind of went the way I figured. I mean, it was close to a squash, and that's kind of what I assumed was going to happen. Yeah. It makes sense, where they've built Malachi up as this sort of unstoppable force. I mean, he's essentially walked through like some of the top tier talent in AEW, to have him struggle at all against, who I would consider maybe the lesser half of the, I mean, he whipped Brian Pillman's ass like it was nothing. They're not going to have Griff Garrison come up and do better. So that kind of went the way I figured. And then, of course, you forgot about the Wardlow match, but that was a true squash.
Oh, yeah.
So that can just live at the bottom. That's fine.
The Wardlow
one more time.
Just a powerbomb symphony, and I'm out.
Was it 4?
Yeah.
Did he get up to 4, or was it only 3?
I think he did 4, yeah. I think he did
4 power bombs and done. So that's fine though. I'm cool with that.
I'm waiting for them to do the full 10 power bombs.
Oh my God. Whoever is on the receiving end of that needs a good payday.
Yeah, no shit. They're going to pay you like you won this match.
Yeah, exactly.
Why?
I literally, when that match was over,
you,
I was like,
turned
to my wife, and I was in Job Squad. Job Squad, baby.
Yep.
Pay me.
Isn't that the match where I yelled out, "Stop it, he's already dead"?
Yes. That was exactly, because he was. That was sad. But I mean, that's how the last couple of Wardlow's matches have been, so no surprise.
They're definitely building him to split off from MJF. He doesn't need him. But it's like,
I'll be happy when he does.
I don't know that I would like him as a babyface though.
Well, he doesn't necessarily have to go straight to babyface just because he gets out.
That's true. That's true, but most of the time, let's be honest, most of the time they send him through a babyface run, and then maybe he'll turn back to be nasty, like later on. But the crowd's into him, you know what I mean? So it's like, listen, they might listen to the crowd and kind of put him over as like a kind of a cool heel, maybe that might work.
Because I mean, he could. If he breaks off, he could essentially just run through the rest of the Pinnacle. I mean, you've got, Sean Spears probably first, since he's the, the accountability buddy, right?
And he keeps stealing the pins in the tag matches and shit.
Yeah, exactly. So you got Sean Spears right away. I mean, you could even have him do one-on-one matches with FTR. I mean, and kind of work his way up to doing something with MJF. I mean, you could have those matches and not have it be a phase. I mean.
Hell, you could do a handicap match with FTR, and they might get some of the best work out of Wardlow.
And that would actually probably be pretty damn cool, honestly. Like that'd be a match that I would enjoy. I'm not a huge FTR fan. I mean, they're fine. I like them. They're not my favorite, but I think I would be hyped for that, for a 2-on with Wardlow. Yeah,
I dig them. They're the Arn and Tully of this era for sure.
Hey, because I know we're about to legit talk about that match here in a second, even though we're going to hit Cassidy and Cole probably next. Sting, after his match, was interviewed and said, he's like, I love fucking working with FTR because they are Tully and Arn.
Oh, wow.
And he said that exact thing. He's like, they work just like them. They are one of the best tag teams in the world.
Oh, yeah.
And Sting was like, it was great working with them. It was like a damn throwback.
I definitely love their intro video, that whole VHS feel of the Ode to the Midnight Express.
I mean, their fucking 80s ass synth heavy entrance music is gorgeous.
It's just over the top. Yeah. It's definitely a play on the Midnight's music. It's not, you know what I mean? You can tell that the inspiration comes from.
They definitely are proud to show where their roots come from.
Yeah. See, and I think, and I'll just throw this out there. Like, honestly, I'm a big sucker for silly gimmicks and things. Like, that's a lot of what I like. And I think that's really the only reason that I'm not as behind FTR as I am some of the other tag teams in AEW, just because there is a lot more goofy shit going on with the other teams, and they are more grounded and more realistic. And that's all well and good. I mean, they do a good job in the ring, and they put on a great show, but I'm always a sucker for the silly stuff. So
that's why Corey loves Marco's stunt.
Oh, wow.
Marco's stunt has, disappeared.
And I don't complain about that at all. I fucking do not like Marco's stunt.
Yeah, he literally got just replaced by Christian.
That's what I was going to say. He turned into Christian Cage, and now Marco is nowhere to be seen.
I mean, the only time he seems in the opening video when they walk out to the ring.
Yeah, and that's it.
Yeah. I have no idea what's happened to Marco, but he's definitely being phased out.
I think so too. Even though he still shows up in the video package for their entrance music, I have a feeling he's being phased out because he's been doing like Joey Janela. He's been working mostly GCW shows.
Right.
And I'm hoping they're not getting rid of Janela, but I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't come back. Like, he's probably just riding out his contract now, and then once it's done, he's like, yeah, I'm out. Deuces.
Yeah, he'll drink a White Claw and forget about it.
Yep. And he might do some, part-time gigs, but he's not going to be a contracted AEW person anymore. But yeah, for an opening match, goddamn, if Orange Cassidy and Adam Cole was not a good one.
Oh no, it is a good way to start off a live show, for sure.
I honestly think, if you think about the acquisitions they've got in AEW over the past couple months, CM Punk, Bryan Danielson, Adam Cole.
Jay Lethal.
I still say Adam Cole's the most over that's been in. Like, CM Punk's thing come in, but it's not quite what we want it to be. And Bryan Danielson is being Bryan Danielson. He's going to give you the most solid, best matches you're ever going to see with anyone. But the crowd, the way the crowd reacts to Adam Cole is just amazing. It's even got me saying Adam Cole, baby.
I know. It's like the past, let's go back to September, okay? So the people we've gotten since September that I can think of off the top of my head, mind you.
Right.
Of course, Punk and Danielson showing up at All Out. Then you got Bobby Fish showing up not long after that.
Yes, sir.
Fucking Jay Lethal.
Yeah, that's another one. Jay totally deserves this.
And then now, did I already say Adam Cole? I said Adam Cole, didn't I?
Say it again, baby.
I'll say it again, just in case I missed fucking Adam Cole. And then, with the biggest pop of the fucking night, the one that got everyone looking because we knew it was happening, and all of a sudden everyone's heads turned at the same time. Goddamn Kyle O'Reilly.
Oh, I popped. I was very happy.
I was super fucking stoked.
When I saw him, Adam Cole, and Bobby Fish standing side by side, and then the Young Bucks come in, I was like, thank God, maybe they're getting him away from the Young Bucks. Please, that's just the right move to do.
See, and that makes me sad because I am all in for SuperClick.
Yeah, and this is where me and you differ.
See, I like the goofy stuff. I mean, it's just how it is. I mean, now, you want to talk about spots that kind of overstay their welcome, doing the, 4 or 5 rebounds off the ropes and the kiss on the cheek thing. That was kind of funny the first time. They didn't need to keep doing that. But I do still like the 3-person team of the Young Bucks and Adam Cole.
Yeah.
And I've kind of known, I guess, everybody has, you'll see the memes floating around of the, the battle for Adam Cole custody ladder match type of stuff.
Yeah.
It still makes me sad. I'm like, oh no, mom and dad are fighting. But it's, it doesn't matter. I mean, if, no matter where he ends up, still going to like Adam Cole, still going to like the Young Bucks. Together, whatever. It doesn't matter.
I will be happy with any of the 3 possible outcomes I see from this. First outcome, super duper click.
Yep.
O'Reilly and Fish just jump in feet first with the Bucks, and they become more or less, they push the Elite to the next, ridiculous level.
Mm-hmm.
I'm down with that. That'll be fucking sweet. Then Cole dipping and basically recreating Undisputed Era. And I'm fine with that. Do I think that is the best move for AEW? Not necessarily, because then it'll bring more of those fucking people that are like, you're just ripping off WWE shit. I'm like,
oh, they've been doing that since Ring of Honor. Fuck them.
Yeah. I mean, truly, they have. Or 2.
I mean, poor Roderick Strong.
He was the 4th wheel, and he's still stuck over there because he did sign an extension, I believe it was. But the last one would be the possibility of Cole staying with the Bucks, but I don't think it's going to be forever. He's going to still be with them. O'Reilly and Fish are going to be around more often, and they're going to slowly start to, coerce him out of the Super Click. But I think Red Dragon, that tag team of Fish and O'Reilly,
I was a fan
of
roughshod. I love that tag team so much.
Oh, I remember seeing them go up against the Bucks a few times in New Japan. I'm just like, oh, I fucking loved it. But I want to see that go down.
You know what would be a fun match?
Mm-hmm.
If they do pull Cole away, and you got Fish, O'Reilly, and Cole, wait for Kenny to come back and get with the Bucks and have a 3-on-3.
I agree. I think that would be great.
That right there would end up being a dream match. The Elite versus the Undisputed Era. People have been talking about that for a while.
But yeah, that would be, that's like pay-per-view main event material.
That's print money.
Yes. yeah.
Now on the newest episode of BTE, they show Adam Cole going back to the dressing room talking to the Bucks, because obviously you can tell the Bucks were not too happy with what was going on during the Holiday Bash. But the BTE, they do a little thing, because they talk about how Adam has a present for him, and Kyle O'Reilly obviously is the present. And then they see what's going on, and then they just tell him Merry Christmas, whatever. They pat him on the shoulder and walk out of the room, you know, and it leaves it kind of awkward. So I don't think that would be happening, him staying with the Bucks. I think it's obvious that what the next move is going to be. But they might, who knows? Vince Russo might be there, and it's a swerve. So let's see what happens.
I'm all for a swerve, but don't sully the swerve with Vince.
Don't play with my emotions.
Don't fuck with Vince Russo. He ruins everything he fucking touches.
That's true. That Jerry Springer loving motherfucker.
Bro.
Bro.
Bro. God, I hate that dude. I'll say it. Orange Cassidy, when you can look past the purposeful laziness in the way he does it, which I love, dude can go.
Yep.
I know it. We talked. I know we talked. Before we went live, we talked about Danhausen.
Yeah.
And it's sort of the same thing. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not a big fan of Orange Cassidy, but I'm not a hater either. You know what I mean? Like, I understand the gimmick. I'm just not, me. I'm an old school dude. So, to me, sometimes it just gets old after a while. And it's like, Danhausen's kind of the same way. Like, they just created a gimmick that's just honestly makes it easier on them.
Yeah.
Besides a few high spots here and there. They don't go over the top too often. But, Orange, man, still impressive to keep up with your hands in your pockets, Yeah. He knows how to work. If he didn't know how to work, he wouldn't be in the position he's in.
No, not at all. Like, you gotta give credit where credit's due. The dude knows how to do shit in a way that people don't normally do it.
No, for sure. But it's over for whatever. Even like a guy I know from this area, him and his wife and his kids go to these AEW shows. Hell, they were on television whenever they showed Tony Nese. They were sitting like right behind him.
Oh shit!
And his kid dresses like Orange Cassidy every time he takes him. Orange, I think, gave him glasses one time.
I think I've seen him on TV. I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. And so they were there again, and of course his kids dressed like Orange Cassidy. The kids love this stuff. It's super marketable, and it is entertaining to an extent. But I think I've said before, it's like I don't see him being an AEW champion.
No, never.
The best he's going to get, he will get the TNT belt at some point.
Yeah, they got to put something on him, but. At the same time, he does kind of have the gimmick where he doesn't really need a title.
He doesn't care. Even if he wanted,
gimmick-wise, his character doesn't want a title. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He's just here to do what he do.
Yeah, exactly.
It'd be funny, and that's the thing, though. Like, that's exactly how a promo would go if he got any belt. Would just be one of his, like, oh, great. Like, why am I? He'd be like pissed off that he has to carry this thing around.
Carry 15 pounds of gold around everywhere he goes. He's
so I could see him. I could see him winning, like the TNT belt, and then just like dropping it the next match, just like whatever. Here you go. Like I don't give a shit.
Yeah. It's like if he did drop it, I would hate to see him do that. Like because from a character standpoint, it's almost like he's insulting the belt. But then, also from a character standpoint, it makes sense that he's lazy. Or better yet, he pulls one of the fucking gags from some of the older playbooks in WWE. He has the TNT title sunglasses.
Oh, yeah, okay.
He has the title belt plate printed on some fucking mirror shades.
Oh,
so
man.
he doesn't carry the belt out at all.
About to have a heart attack right now.
I know. Hey, man. It would fit his character to a T.
I think.
He only wears the glasses around, but since he rolls out with best friends all the time, they can carry the belt out for him. So the belt's there, but he only wears the glasses.
Yeah.
But I could still see him not really trying to defend it since he's been in. As far as I can remember, I remember watching him in two different of their casino ladder matches, and he did the same gimmick in those where he doesn't even set the ladder up; he just stands on the ground and like reaches up in the sky, where it's like it's very clear that like no, I'm not even gonna try. I think I feel like one time the ladder was laying there, and he just stepped on top of the ladder laying on the ground and tried to do it. And that's exactly what happened. He hit it from the canvas, and then he stepped on a ladder that was laying flat, giving him a whole, 6 inches higher or whatever, and the same thing. So, he hadn't really tried for the chip in the past. I could see him doing something like that with the belt. Mm-hmm. If they even wanted to give it to him. But, I could see them just kind of keeping him as sort of a mid-card or opening event act for pretty much however long he wants, probably.
Yeah, honestly, Cassidy can main event from the standpoint of entertainment value, but he works best as just hype man on the mid card to really like bring people in, keep them invested.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Now, we pretty much touched on how good that match was, like spot-wise inside the match. Both of them working real well. We got plenty of the O kicks and punches as well.
Oh yeah.
But let's go ahead, stop beating around the bush, and talk about the match that I've waited fucking 30 years to see. I finally got to fucking see Sting wrestle in a goddamn ring.
Wow.
Finally. I never got to when I was a kid. We were too fucking broke to go see wrestling shows.
I got to see Sting once. And let me tell you when it was. It was the last time you ever saw him wrestle as Surfer Sting at Fall Brawl.
Fucker.
That was my first big wrestling show. My dad took me and my brother. We sat in nosebleed. Took my cousin too. My dad made me take them to the snack bar during Chris Jericho's match, and I was very upset because I had to watch his match on a TV at a fucking snack bar or whatever at the Coliseum. And then by the time I got back, it was over. I was so upset.
I could say so.
And but seeing Sting that night, because they had the NWO Sting and then the real Sting, and all that jazz, and then he cleared house and then got pissed off and left them. And that I was there for that. I remember that vividly. And he never wrestled in those colors ever again. He showed up on Nitro the next night, but he didn't work. But that was the only other time I saw Sting. I went to a TNA house show. He definitely wasn't there, but they sold his merch like crazy.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. But I'd been waiting to see Sting forever, and I finally got to. This is the second time I've seen him at a live event, because the other time was this past summer in Charlotte, where he was ringside with Darby during Darby's match.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But so there was that, but now I finally got to see him wrestle, and dude can still go.
Yeah, 62 years old, man.
Yeah, and then I also got to see fucking CM Punk wrestle at the same time. I mean,
I
talking about like kicking some fucking boxes.
Totally.
I'm just like, tick, all right. It's like I'm a little late to the live game for both of them, but fuck, I knocked off two big names in one go.
Yeah, for sure. Hell, I was wearing a CM Punk shirt. I'm not even straight edge. I was Santa Claus wearing a CM Punk shirt, drinking a beer.
I had two choices of shirt for Wednesday night. I had my Cobra logoed CM Punk shirt, or I had my Warhausen shirt. I was just like, CM Punk shirt's too on the nose. I'm going Warhausen.
Right. Well, I wore the CM Punk because of the colors, but I had ordered another shirt that said I just turned heel. It was a black shirt with red letters. And it didn't get here until after I'd left already to come to the show.
That would have been perfect for Santa.
Yeah. It just was too close to the wire, man. It sucked.
Mm-hmm.
But they got me that CM Punk shirt in less than a few days. It was crazy.
It is
crazy how that works. But anyways, it worked for my ensemble.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. Now, Corey, for you, what did you think of this match?
See, I've actually been psyched for it for a bit. We've had tickets for this for a while now. Pretty much since the day that they put them up. And what would it have been last week, or I guess the week before that we went, when CM Punk came out and kind of laid down the gauntlet, saying, here's the match, deal with it. My wife and I were both like freaking out in our bonus room watching. We're like, we get to see this match. We were.
I know. I was the same way at home. I was like, yes.
Yeah. So yeah, we've been pumped and looking forward to it. To me, it's just kind of funny. Everything old is new again, I guess, right? Like, I would say I'm fairly recent to wrestling fandom. I've always been, aware of it, never been like a hardcore watcher of wrestling until, the last couple of years or so. But these are names that I know, I mean, when I was in middle school, two of my best friends were huge Sting fans. So, I knew just about everything that was going on with Sting because my friends were all into it and were talking about it. I actually took a picture during Sting's entrance during the Holiday Bash and sent it to one of my buddies, and I was like, "You ready for a blast from the past?" And he texted me back in all caps. He's like, "You got to see the Stingers?" like, yeah, I sure did, and CM Punk was there. So, yeah, I mean, it was just kind of nuts to be like, what year is it? Did I hop in a time machine? Yeah, I mean, star power aside, I mean, the match was excellent.
It's hard to get a 6-man tag over like that. Which, what do they call it in AEW? They don't call it 6-man tag. They call it something else.
I thought it was just like something as simple as just calling it a 3-on-3.
Something, yeah. They called it something. I remember, and I was like, oh, okay, whatever. I've always known it as a 6-man tag. Overall, it's hard to get those kind of matches over, especially if it's like not an elimination style or something like that. It is really hard, and I think they knocked it out of the park. MJF is the best heel in the business right now.
Absolutely. My before I get to this, I'll say real quick before I forget. AEW calls it a trios match.
Match, yeah.
Yeah, my only complaint about that match, I thought it was great. My only complaint is I would have liked to have seen MJF in the ring a little bit more, but I mean, I know that's been his character lately when he's not doing like a pay-per-view match. He's run around the ring and hide stuff.
That's cowardly heel.
Yeah, and that's fine. It would have been nice to see him do a little more ring work, but I mean, that's a small complaint given how the rest of it played out.
Well, yeah, even like Dax pushing him out of the way so he didn't get caught in the gun sleep. That was still well thought out into like he's not going to touch Punk yet until pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, at least match wise,
Mm-hmm. Now,
but I mean, FTR, it was such an old school type of match too. The way they set up the hot tags, the way they set up the heat before the hot tags. And just MJF playing the coward the whole time. Hell, he even ran up in the stands.
Yeah.
That was amazing. Like, I mean, I was pissed that it was just like fucking one section over from us where it happened.
Oh, wow.
And then one section over from us where they came back down. I was like, what the fuck?
So close, so far away.
I was definitely entertained the whole time. Sting, I was like, those Stinger splashes weren't as high as they used to be. But that's about it.
They definitely aren't, but I mean,
but overall, he kept up, and he did pretty decently for what he could do. And Punk. Did you see Punk miss that springboard off the rope?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Even like after the match, he kept like testing the rope. Like, I don't know what happened.
My favorite part is he didn't play it like a botch and try to do it again. He was just like, fuck it, and he salvaged it and turned it into something workable.
Exactly.
That is something that I think is good. If you can think on your feet and turn it to your advantage, it makes it seem more real to me. Like, these spots aren't going to work every time.
Right, like that spear spot you saw me in the last time you saw me work. We just made it work.
Just made it work. Just made it work. But I think, honestly, the talking point of this match, beyond the fact that it had a very, very Bash at the Beach vibe, if I'm remembering the pay-per-view correctly, where it was Sting, Macho, and Luger all with the matching face paint.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Beyond that callback, the lawn dart that was MJF towards the end of that match.
Oh my god.
Right. Jesus.
I mean, everyone was like, holy shit, he nearly fucking died.
Right, yeah. I mean, what a hell of a bump.
I mean, like, say what?
Well, I was gonna say it was. I think it was after that toss out of the ring that he kind of disappeared for a bit. Makes me wonder if maybe he did have a little bit of a hard landing.
Oh yeah, I'm sure all the air left his body from that landing.
Yeah, Sting hooked him out, and then FTR
for a minute.
Yeah, FTR barely caught him to keep him from just going dome first on the concrete.
Yeah, that was brutal. That was a brutal fall.
Yeah. That's why you saw the ref go out of the ring really quickly, too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
That was not a good landing. It could have been way, way worse. Thank God FTR knows how to do their shit, but like, it's no fault of Sting's or anybody's. They did the spot the way they should. It's just, every once in a while,
I turned to Lita when that spot happened, and I went, he's a little overzealous on that.
Yeah. But, yeah, oh, fuck. This match was great. And, honestly, the combo finish, go to sleep, death drop, coffin drop.
Oh. Yeah, that was pretty good.
Darby took some fucking killer bumps in that match too. By the way, he always does. He always goes over the top. A lot of the times, I'm like, God, that's so unnecessary. But at the same time, it's like, oh man, I mean, that's you gotta give it to him for trying to entertain
and the
put
best
his body
part
on the
is
line like he does sometimes.
With this match, it worked even better. Because he was the smallest fucking dude out there.
Oh, by far.
Yeah, hands
by
down.
Far, yeah.
Yeah, and so all these big dudes fucking hucking him around, it makes goddamn sense.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And he bounces in a way that's just interesting. The way he bounces on his bumps. I know it sounds strange, but it's like he almost defies gravity even in the way he bumps. It's strange. I guess just because of his body frame,
Mm-hmm.
and just his skill at bumping. I mean, that dude goes all out in his selling.
I know. I can't think of anyone else that goes all out like that to sell. I mean,
I've seen some stupid shit, but overall, I'm still entertained. I'm just I mean, I can't say nothing. So we all remember Mick Foley, for Christ's sakes, and can't say anything about Darby Allin. I mean, my God, but Darby really puts it all out on the line, and I appreciate that for him. But man, it does make me scared for him at the same time.
Yeah, there's gonna be a moment where he's gonna have to decide on where his middle ground's going to be.
Right.
That's what he needs to do. He needs to figure out that middle ground of high intensity over the top and safety.
Mm-hmm.
But as of right now, he's 90% intensity, 10% safety.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's personal safety, not so much other people's safety.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I'm going to go ahead and say it, he is the fastest person in the ring, period.
Oh, absolutely.
There's no doubt about it. If anyone in AEW, he is the fastest person.
When he hits like a plancha or a suicide dive, the intensity in which he propels himself always makes me cringe. Because
he's a huge bullet.
Yeah, because it's always like he's like, I'm so light when I hit you, you're going to feel it, but you're not going to feel it.
Yeah.
So he just goes all out. Every time he does one of those moves, it makes me cringe. I'm like, fuck. Because, I'm usually the guy who catches the guys from the suicide dives or the plunge. So when I see that, I'm like, Jesus, if he come at me like a bullet like that, I don't know. You know what I mean? It's like, kudos to the guy who's catching him. And sometimes it's two guys, and he just comes through with such intensity, man. But like I said, I mean, he's one of those guys, like you said, 10% safety.
Yeah.
I don't think he goes out there to hurt anybody, obviously.
No, not at all.
He knows he's going to bounce off these guys like rubber.
Yeah.
You know, he's so light. But, you know, his intensity is just through the roof. And I appreciate it. Yeah, you know.
I do.
But it helped for this match. He's so good for taking heat. You know what I mean? He's perfect for taking heat.
Yeah.
And he took a lot of the heat in that match. Sting took a lot of good heat, you know.
Yeah.
He wasn't afraid to take heat. I mean, people around my area, it was so funny. People, like, before Sting even got tagged in, this guy's yelling, "Tag in Sting!" And another guy would say, "Tag in Sting!" And then another guy was like, "Darby, tag in CM Punk. Who can tag in Sting?"
Yeah, I remember all that.
The people, the things the fans were saying were killing me during that match. And then this Sting's taking heat, and they're like, "Somebody help Sting!"
I feel like there were several full crowd chants of "We want Sting" during that match.
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, what was it, like 24 years since he wrestled in Greensboro?
27. 27
years. Jesus.
Yeah. He hasn't wrestled in Greensboro since I was fucking 11.
That's crazy. That's just fucking crazy. Wow. It's just kind of odd to think that even Impact didn't work Greensboro at some point. It just seems ridiculous.
It's crazy.
I saw him in a house show in Winston-Salem. Why wouldn't they work Greensboro? You know what I mean?
Honestly, no one fucking worked Greensboro. Not even, I don't even remember WWE really working Greensboro at all.
Yeah, I know I saw them at Greensboro, but when I saw them, that was like 90s Attitude Era.
Yeah.
Stuff. So, you know, I didn't really follow after that. I only went to like 2 shows back then. I got to see Unforgiven, the first Inferno match in Greensboro Coliseum, which was pretty cool. And then I saw a house show like 3 months later. That was it.
Yeah, the only
WWF I've ever been to.
Yeah, the only WWF I've ever been to was Starrcade 2016.
Oh, really? That would have been, man, I would have loved to have seen that.
It was great. I mean, I got to see AJ wrestle in a cage match against Jinder Mahal of all fucking people.
Wow.
I got to see Shinsuke wrestle, Baron Corbin wrestle. I saw
Didn't Dustin come out as Dustin Rhodes?
Yeah, he came out in a split gear of, or actually not split gear. He came out in the Gold Dust robe and started off with Gold Dust music, and he threw the robe off, and it kicked in the natural music, and he was wearing his like cut off cowboy shirt, jeans, and cowboy boots.
Nice, yeah.
So I got to see him wrestle. I got to see a few things. I did. It was pretty solid.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm just.
We digress from the main event of the AEW.
yeah. But I mean, it was still related. But I mean, all things considered, that fucking main event gassed the entire fucking crowd.
Oh yeah, when they hit Rampage, that crowd was dead.
I was blown the fuck up. I mean, I couldn't do anything. My voice was cracking on shit. I had to drop an octave to be able to fucking cheer at all. I don't know if Corey noticed it or not, but I couldn't do any cheers unless I dropped an octave.
Yeah. I mean, you're, like I said, it's going to be tough to top that as a main event. I feel like for a while, for at least a couple of weeks. Yeah. So yeah, to go straight. What the hell was the first match? It was Jungle Boy and who? I don't even remember who.
Isaiah Cassidy.
That's weird in its own right, but yeah, to go straight from a match like that to Jungle Boy and Half a Private Party, like, yeah,
right.
Nobody's gonna be that excited.
the energy is what it is. I could compare it to a concert I went to one time. I went to Music as a Weapon tour where Disturbed and Killswitch Engage were on the same show. Now, granted, I don't really give 2 craps about Disturbed, but Killswitch Engage, man, I was really for it. And they went on before Disturbed. They had a wall of death. You know, the crowd was just like crazy into Killswitch. And then Disturbed came out, and it was like nobody moshed, and people just sort of chanted along to the music. You know what I mean? It's like Killswitch just destroyed. before Disturbed went on. It was like, they took the air out of the room, basically. And that's kind of like what the main event did that night, right before recording Rampage.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I mean, it wasn't until, like, honestly, like, Hook's match got big fucking pops right after that.
We got to talk about that. We got to talk about what is interesting about Hook. What has got people interested in this kid? Because honestly, 2 matches in, one little guy, one great big guy, Fuego del Sol, and the guy from Bear Country. And he had 2 solid matches against both guys, but nothing great. I don't think. I don't see anything that's great about him. I'm not saying he don't look good or anything, but we're just 2 matches in. And
yeah, I mean, he's been marketed very well. That's all it is. He's been marketed incredibly well because, as we were saying before the show, I think it was, with Hook, he's been there ringside, kind of lurking like he wants to jump into the mix for fucking, like, the past year and a half.
Right.
Just right there on the edge of things. You're like, what's he going to do? What's he going to do? And since he's been hyped up as Taz's son, in the back of your mind, like, what sort of sneaky fucking shit did Taz teach him? Because Taz taught him some shit.
Oh, yeah. His finish is his dad's finish.
Yeah.
And he's doing judo moves. He's doing, yeah. His dad's a judo guy. So, yeah, he's definitely got that. But, the kid looks amazing. If we're talking, like, body type-wise, he definitely looks good. And he kind of comes off, he makes me think of Sagat, from Street Fighter.
I said,
I was going to say Muay Thai.
I said basically he just needs to grease his hair up, throw on a headband, and call himself Joe Higashi from fucking Fatal Fury.
Right.
Because that's what I see.
Nice reference.
He's too short for Sagat, but he can pull the Joe Higashi.
That's true.
He's the right body type, right age, got the hair already.
And the hair just drives me crazy.
If you want to really mince things, we'll go with a Don.
Oh. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
From Street Fighter. Yeah, we can go with Don.
From what? Was he from Alpha?
Yes.
That's what I remember.
Yeah. But, his Muay Thai look with the fucking, like, grappler shorts and the fucking taped up hands, and then his white boots that honestly just look like his feet are taped up. It's a fucking solid look. It already sets him apart from everyone else. It makes me think of, like, when Malachi Black debuted and he had those grappler shorts, which I wish he would go back to. I like them more with the tights. It fits more with his Dutch Muay Thai, thing that they offer up all the time, which honestly, that's kind of an absurd sounding combination, but I'm not going to say it doesn't exist. It just sounds like something they fucking made up.
It does, yeah.
Just like I said, the marketing of Hook, seeing him on the sidelines, and then, always wanting to do something. He got a few little sneak attacks in that kind of gave you a taste, like over the past year or so. But then, and they've kind of hinted at it. And then to finally deliver, I feel like just the fact that they held it back so long, they fought the classic Tony Khan, throw it after you too early. He always rushes things. He can't hold on and wait. So this right here, I think, is the culmination of actually waiting on something and getting people hyped for it.
Maybe, but even though they weren't really hyping him, it didn't seem like he was just sort of in the background forever and ever and ever.
He was in the background, and it's like I guess people wanted to see him, and they kept holding off. Because I'll tell you, like watching Dynamite and Rampage and all this, like, send Hook, shit, the chants and the signs, and I'm like, what is this guy's deal? Because I had only seen him, sidelined and, kind of just coming out as the third wheel. And then when, a month or so ago when it was his debut, my wife and I looked at each other like, debut? Like, what the fuck? Like, everybody's after this guy and he hasn't even been in a ring yet? Like, we were scratching our heads. Like, I thought that maybe, he had some matches, like, early on, when Dynamite first started up, and maybe I had missed it or something. Maybe he was really good. People want him to come back. No, they've never seen him in the ring, and they're going nuts for him. So I'm right there with you. I kind of don't get it, but we'll see. We'll see where it goes.
Yeah, I just want to see the character evolve, and we're just seeing the beginning of it. So I'm not on the bandwagon yet. I got to see more to sort of have a solid opinion. But my opinion of him right now is he can work, and he works just as good as the guys that are in the ring with him right now. Because he's still green. We got to look at it that way. He's still green.
Yeah,
but I think he has the attitude down pat for what his character is. Right, we've never heard him speak yet, but to me, no one's great unless they can cut a good promo.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
Agreed. I mean, honestly, I almost think if he doesn't speak at all, it could almost be as good as if he does do really well.
If they do a Sabu type thing and give him a mouthpiece, it might.
The right mouthpiece. It might. I really feel like the silent lets the work in the ring do the talking for them type has been seen in a long time. And if he's not amazing on the mic, or if they think maybe he just doesn't sound good when he speaks, maybe he's got too childish a voice or some shit. I don't know, because I can't think of a time I've ever heard him talk.
Right. Yeah, I haven't. Exactly.
I think maybe if they make him the, almost silent assassin style kind of gimmick, it can work real well for him. I wouldn't let Taz talk with him.
No.
Ricky could do it. Because honestly, Ricky Starks is a carnival barker.
Yeah.
I love him to death. But the way he talks is very, very well. And it's super fucking, I don't want to sound like I'm using the fucking industry term. It's carny as fuck. He's such a fucking hype man for whatever he's doing and so over the top. He's a goddamn carnival barker. And it could work for Hook. It could.
I think Taz could do it, but I see it like on down the line. Hook's over already before he's done anything, so he's already got some momentum going. At some point, I just see him going babyface and turning on whatever his dad wants him to do. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
I can see that further on down the line if you wanted to put Taz as his mouthpiece. Every once in a while you can tell he doesn't like what he says. He puts him in situations he doesn't really want to be in or something like that. It just keeps building and building and building and building until it finally just explodes.
Well, they kind of did that already with Dante Martin.
Yeah, very similar.
Dante, but I like Dante's work. I really do.
Oh, don't get me wrong.
I don't like this wishy-washy. He's heel a minute, now he's back to being babyface, and the kid has got all the talent in the damn world. He's over the top good.
I've never seen someone that can jump like him. God damn.
But this back and forth shit's going to ruin that kid. You know what I mean? It just comes off too wishy-washy, and I wish they would just make up their mind.
I want his brother to come back so Top Flight can reform, so we don't have to worry.
That would be great. That would be great because they had a good thing going,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But that kid, he showed it with Kenny Omega. My God.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a match.
Mm-hmm. He's a natural, plain and simple, and a natural high flyer at that.
Yeah.
But he's running into the curse of what some of those types do. There's certain spots that they're going to do all the time, and they need to know when to do it instead of always doing it.
Exactly.
Because he's got a few things he does all the time. Do I like the springboard from rope to rope around the corner to the moonsault? Yes, I do. But it shouldn't be done every match. Even if it's your, signature finisher. No, he needs another one. Bring that out for, special fucking shit. Don't do it all the time.
That's just his Undertaker walk across the ropes.
Yeah, I don't need to see it all the time. Every once in a while. It needs to be the seasoning.
Yeah, it's all about, you know, telling a story with what you're doing. That's the problem with high. That's why I'm not a big Bucks fan. I can almost see a Bucks match happening before it's happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I know what's going to happen as soon as I see it. It's too many high spots and not good enough storytelling. And I'm all about storytelling more than I am the high spots. Build up to the high spots. Make the high spots mean something, not just high spot. You take all the fucking anything out of it. You take the piss out of it, it ain't worth shit.
Now, let's go ahead, because, I mean, I could talk about all that shit for hours on end. I do want to talk about the next match just for like a hot second, because one, I love watching Layla Hirsch work. And two, Statlander's really good.
Oh, yeah. Great match. Except for something that you pointed out a long time ago to me was Layla Hirsch's moonsault. Please, she needs to stop doing that moonsault.
I agree. It's the chink in the armor.
Yeah. Stop doing the moonsault. Everything else looks great.
She needs to work like a fucking small person with a chip on her shoulder, work low down and dirty, and use the amateur wrestling skills that she has, which make her good at fucking professional wrestling, because, I mean, she's still pretty green, but she can work.
She's intense. She's an intense little shit, that's for sure.
and I know she can work because she put on a hell of a fucking match with goddamn Camille for the NWA Championship.
For sure. And look at, we talked about the difference in those girls. Like, Camille is like legit 6 foot something, right?
Yeah.
Five, at least 5'10".
Yeah.
She's tall, and Layla Layla being the shortest she is, she's all solid muscle too, and her shit looks intense, man. She's just everything she pops real good for suplexes and all those little spots. But yeah, that moonsault, I seen that moonsault live, and I was like, oh god, that was the only bad thing about that match.
It was the only bad thing about that match, but it was also the only time I thought that moonsault looked good.
Yeah, it was just a little short.
Yeah, it was her best moonsault I've seen her do, but she still needs to stop fucking doing it. I don't need it. Don't need it. And I will say this: I really, really am digging Statlander's new fucking submission hold finisher.
Yeah, that was badass. That turned out really well. And Layla almost seemed like, we joked about how small she is, but it almost worked really well. It looked really good. Yeah.
I mean, it's not the first time I've seen Statlander use it, but it's really new. She hasn't used it many times, and it looks fucking painful.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
But I like the almost ROH style start off because, I mean, we've seen these two tag before, but the victory, I like the story that it told where it rubbed Layla the wrong way, and you could kind of tell by the way they were doing the spots that they were setting up some sort of like Layla getting pissed type of thing, like an almost being overshadowed and outclassed due to size type of thing.
You're right.
So when I saw her slap the hand away at the end, I was like, you two put on a good one. Well done. Well done. I like
We might get to see heel Layla soon, so see where that goes.
If heel Layla were to fucking do some sort of shit, let's put it this way. Fantasy thought here. Fantasy. Like pure fantasy. Alright. Danielson's a heel right now. Works pure, wonderful pro wrestling style.
Yeah.
Hirsch has the same sort of vibe, goes heel. Put them together. Third, fantasy bring in Jonathan Gresham, because right now he's working that same heel style, pure wrestling.
Right.
That right there would be one of the meanest fucking factions that I can think of, just pure wrestling.
That would totally make sense.
And You've got a good balance. You got two dudes and a chick, but they work the same sort of style, and they can really feed off each other. And then you have two really, really good workers that can make her better.
That's true. Because she has a lot of room to grow. But yeah, her style is, man, she's so intense, man.
Hell, they could even bring Serena Deeb into that group. Have 2 and 2.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool. I like heel Serena.
Oh, heel Serena
works better. She's more charismatic as a heel for me. Her baby face is not good.
No, not at all.
But she's so believable as a heel, and it just works for me. And I like her in-ring work.
Oh, I mean, she's fucking great in-ring. Great. And she's another one that put on an amazing match with Camille and made Camille look hella good and hella strong. But let's touch on the last match anyone was able to cheer for at all. Or, well, I hesitate to say cheer.
I mean, you were probably ecstatic. Your favorite wrestler was in this match. And we're not talking Sammy Guevara.
God damn you.
We're talking about Homelander himself. Cody Rhodes.
I was doing my damnedest to out-boo the little motherfucker that was cheering in front of me.
Yeah, that dude was going nuts. The guy in front of us. Like, it didn't matter where a boo or an anti-Cody chant started. This dude was on his feet cheering for Cody after every single one of them. It could have been right next to him. It could have been across the damn arena. He was standing and yelling for Cody every time without question.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's funny, the spot where Cody catches Sammy and then he power bombs him on the 3 guys on the front row.
Yeah.
Like, everybody in my area popped, for sure. But, like, right afterwards, some dude says, I don't give a fuck. Fuck you, Cody. You suck. But it was like everybody popped. But then that guy said that, like, as soon as the pop died, that dude said it, and everybody just started laughing.
Oh, man. I mean, you can tell, even though Cody's playing it off like that, you can tell all the fucking boos he's getting are getting to him a little bit.
I think it's just become a thing. Part of me is like, I don't think he deserves all that shit, man. You know?
No, yeah.
If anybody, the Bucks deserve it more than him because they're on like all the time. It's like, okay, I get it. Mm-hmm. You know, Cody can at least have solid matches, but I just don't like babyface Cody. That's just me. I just don't like babyface Cody.
Well, it's not.
I would rather. I think he wants to be a role model, where it just doesn't work for him. He can be a role model outside of that, but you know, as a character, I don't like role model goody two shoes. I mean, there's only been one Ricky Steamboat, and you're not it, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same way. Like, you're not going to recapture that Hulkamania fucking vitamins and bullshit that he imagines in his head. It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. No.
The days of that sort of shit are long past. He's not going to be a fucking John Cena. No, it's not going to happen. Like,
nope.
There are certain types of people that it fucking works for. Do I enjoy John Cena? Fuck no. But at the same time, at least he's got a little more of a sense of humor and personality about it.
Well, you know, John was just pressed in the position where they put him in the Hulk Hogan position. I mean, John could do the work, and John tried to do different stuff in his matches, and he got a lot of shit for it. You know, a lot of people forget Arn Anderson was most of the time, his agent for his stuff. Yeah. So, you know, a lot of his matches were bad, but they did kind of limit him. I mean, think about when he wrestled Kurt Angle.
Yeah.
You know, in that big debut on television. And he, He went all out, and he was green as shit. And then you get into, well, here's the 5-knuckle shuffle, and here's all the shit people want to see. And WWE is going to push you down their throat. I mean, Cody's trying to do that with himself, in a sense.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what's really killing him. It is him. He's trying to push himself, whether everybody wants it or not. And it's just like, any time that he comes up against resistance, he just doubles down. It's like, no. Let me tell you what you guys want to see. It's more of me.
Yeah, well, that's really just pro wrestling mentality, too. It's like, you know what? I mean, literally, that's what they did with John Cena. Bruce Pritchard, I've heard say many times, it's like the more people booed, the more we pushed him down their throats.
It's what they're doing with Roman, but goddamn, fuck Roman Reigns. Fuck.
I gotta say, I don't hate him as a heel. I thought he should have been a heel a long time. So this
he should have been.
It's just WWE writing sucks for me. You know what I mean? Like, I like seeing him as a heel. It works. But
here's my thing with Cody. All right, so before I go into it, I'll talk about some things. So in the match, Cody doing his thing. I love seeing Sammy's jump start, like shotgun drop kick straight off the bat. Wonderful. Sammy got some good trading licks. It wasn't like a full one-sided bash from Cody, which you kind of half suspected it may have been with all the lead up. But they traded licks pretty nicely.
Oh, yeah.
That I enjoyed. Seeing Sammy kick out of the fucking crossroads. Mwah, chef kiss. It's good. But here's the thing. A Cody match is always going to have a handful of things. Okay? One, an entrance he doesn't deserve.
Yeah. Yep.
That's the biggest number one. That is the one thing that if they fucking listen to goddamn anything that I ever rant about, and I rant about this too much, and probably some people fucking hate hearing me do it, but this is a hill I will fucking die on. The center elevator is for fucking real champions only. Not some fucking shit-ass EVP that wants to be different than everyone else. Go fuck yourself. Now that you're the TNT champ, I still don't want you to because you fucking burnt that bridge for yourself. You could, but now that you've got that belt again, fuck you. You still don't deserve it. For being the guy that says fucking do the work, you weren't fucking doing shit while you were fucking filming your lame-ass talent show. Or your shitty fucking reality show that no one fucking watches. Do the work, my ass. Fuck. But, so, entrance he doesn't deserve. 2. Springboard Insiguri. You're going to see it. He's going to hop off the middle rope and kick you in the head. 3. He's going to drop to his back and punch you in the throat. 4. He's going to do a really shitty cutter off the middle rope.
I was going to say, when did all these guys start marking Jay Lethal? Jay Lethal just got to the company, and 2 of the top stars both kind of rip off the lethal injection. Of course, it's not exactly the same. They don't do a handstand into the ropes and then hit it. But the jump, the whole coming off the ropes and hitting the cutter just seems like a Jay Lethal thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people have been doing it lately, and there's only a handful that do it well. Cody is not one of them. and then the 5th one, obviously, is the crossroads, which I still like as a finishing move. It looks good if it's done right. If he gets the proper, if he's working with the person that's going to do the spike plant version of it, where they stand straight up on top of their dome, those are the best ones. Like fucking Sammy did the Spike Plant version. And he sold the shit out of it. But I can tell you this firsthand. I have not dozed off for more matches, or well, let's put it this way. I have dozed off during more Cody matches than anyone else. I can't count the times I've been watching Cody matches and I've fallen asleep. Because they are boring.
Man, that's harsh.
And half the time they're no longer than 10 or 15 minutes. But if there's anyone that can make a match feel like it drags ass in AEW, it's fucking Cody. Mm-hmm. He has put me to sleep so many times. New Japan Cody, no.
He's had some solid matches. I think the first time when he was TNT champion, where he would have some guys on from the Indies and come on and work, man, that was fun.
If he opens up the Open Challenge again, cool.
Well, I think it's still open. It never closed.
Well, the Cody version of the Open Challenge.
The Cody version of it, yeah.
The Cody version where it's every week he's doing somebody. I'm for that. That is the one thing I will give Cody that he did better than anyone else. He did the fighting champion. Every fucking week he was going after somebody.
Well,
and I thought the shit he did with Brody Lee was great. Like, I like Brody come in and just squashed him. I mean, squashed him on live television.
That I never thought Cody would let someone do that. But, hey, I will not dog the fact that Cody is not a talented person. But his characterization is where I, take umbrage.
I agree. I don't like the character now. Nothing against his in-ring work. I just want to see, just turn heel, man. That all your best stuff is you being a heel.
I mean, he keeps fucking needling us all the time. It's like, I got something on my heel. Fucking eat a dick. Fucking smarmy bastard.
I got two things. I'll say one, we'll stick on topic, but I just wonder with the Open Challenge thing if that's where they're going with this. Because honestly, I was surprised. I really didn't think that they were going to take it away from Sammy so soon. They did. But it makes me wonder if they did it so, if Cody insists on being on TV so often, have it mostly be against indie people or outside of the promotion. So he's not winning at the expense of the other talent in AEW. I don't know. I don't know if that's where they're going or not. I just wonder if that's like a shot they're going to take to try and find a middle ground where he's still on television, but, I don't know. He doesn't really have matches with stakes that affect AEW if it's all external.
I think the next big program Cody's going to put on him and Ethan Page. That's what I see coming. I mean, Dan Lambert's promo basically telegraphed it.
Yeah, that's true.
I like Ethan Page. I do. And I want to see good things. The sooner Cody loses the belt, better, but at the same time, like we were saying with the Open Challenge, I would like to see it run for a little while. You know why? There's a chance that we could see Danhausen moved in to do the Open Challenge against Cody.
For sure.
Yeah. I'd watch that.
I would love, there's still that chance. He's been at a lot of the shows here lately. Yeah. Like backstage and stuff. And he rubs elbows with all that talent. And even Tony Khan said there might be some interest in Danhausen because he has so much buzz behind him on the internet and stuff.
Yeah, so,
I wouldn't mind seeing Danhausen on AEW. But, he would be in that Orange Cassidy spot. You're never going to see him as heavyweight champion or anything like that. But
not at all.
He's going to have some of the most entertaining spots in the show, for sure.
I would, if this gets off topic some, but if he does make it to AEW, I'd love to see him pull Warhorse with him. Warhorse
that would be great.
Warhorse has had 2 matches, and he got crushed both times.
His second one, man. Andrade just squashed him. I didn't like that at all.
But that match against Andrade, they just did Warhorse dirty.
Yeah, that was stupid. But, hopefully, put them together. Get him out there. Get Warhausen going.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, it also Cody having this belt. As much as like I've had enough time to digest and get over being annoyed by it. Also, the other thing that irked me, Cody, you won a mid-card belt. You didn't need all your fucking friends to come out and blow smoke up your ass at the end of it.
My God. Yeah.
That was all. I mean, well, first of all, you know, a lot of that had to do with, you know,
we were in Greensboro.
David Crockett was there. They got David Crockett out there.
I know. We were in Greensboro. That's the other reason. That's the only other reason I can see why Cody won the belt. Because one, Greensboro, it's fucking legendary in the wrestling world. I mean,
of course, Dusty booked that for Crockett for years, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I mean, you've got that sort of thing. So most likely, it's almost like a networking rub as to why Cody got the belt in this particular time.
For sure.
So,
and that set up with Hook.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Oh, that was the greatest.
Which I still thought was odd. I was like,
mouth.
I wasn't expecting it. I was like, man, who's coming out? And then when I heard Hook's music, which is Action Bronson, by the way, if anybody doesn't know who that is.
It is, yeah.
I was like, what?
I mean, it was great. Tony Khan's like, send Hook. And then here comes Hook. Well, Hook gets in the ring, you know, he's doing his Hook thing. Well, he just smacks the piss out of Cody.
With his pink backpack on.
Yeah.
Rachel was not having Hook's look.
No, she was not. Like I said, neither one of us really understand it. I'm kind of the mindset where, like, I don't care. You know, people are free to like whoever they want. I mean, that's the beauty of wrestling. You know, people like everybody. You know, for whatever reason. She is just like not having it and is aggressive about it. She doesn't like him. She doesn't want other people to like him. She's like, I don't care. It's which is, I mean, that's fine too. Yeah, she'll let you know that she don't like him. Which is pretty funny. 'Cause, I mean, she does the same shit at home when we're watching too. She's like, what is this? This is bullshit. Why? I don't. Let me ask you guys though something as we're talking about the after taping stuff here that happened. I still can't decide. There's one thing that happened that Cody said, and I can't figure out if it was more of him just being a smarmy asshole or if he's actually delusional. But Tony Khan was in the ring with everybody, and this is after taping. They're not filming anything at all, and he's trying to get everybody to congratulate Cody on being the new TNT champion. And of course everybody boos. Or at least enough people boo that you can hear it. And his response was, come on guys, we're not on television.
Right, yeah.
Does he actually think that people are booing him just for the sake of television? I have to wonder. I question it, and it kind of makes me sad if that's true. But maybe it is just him being, it's along the same thing as the heel.
I think that goes along the same lines as, like I said before, it's just become the thing to do. Like, I don't think some people even really care one way or another. They're just like, oh man, it's time to boo Cody Rhodes.
Yeah. It could be.
But I think people get off on it. Like, just seeing the crowd reaction around me.
What was it that I said during the match? Oh yeah, you were better before you got your name back.
Yes.
That's awesome. That's hilarious.
I like Cody, and I really, really was fucking all on board with Cody when he first dipped out and joined Bullet Club and did all that fucking great heel work. And, like, the American Nightmare name made fucking sense.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, he's the Wish.com American Dream. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't fucking work. But he's trying his damnedest to make this failed delusion get over, and it's not working. I mean, he needs, just stop and figure out something else. Make the Nightmare
I just need to work him into having a mental breakdown from having to do all this shit and having to take all the booze and whatnot. He just cracks and turns heel. You know?
Yeah, I would love it. If they did something like that, it would work. I mean,
it would. I mean, that's what people want to see, but that's exactly what he's pushing against.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like
he's just more interested in that way. He's not interested as a character right now.
Yeah, and that's the only reason I talk shit about him, because he's as interesting as a fucking glass of milk.
Mm-hmm.
Lance Storm has more personality, for Christ's sakes. What's going on here?
Yeah, I mean, it's like I'm hesitant to say that fucking Brock Lesnar has more personality than fucking Cody right now. And Brock Lesnar has the personality of a fucking 2x4.
First of all, I saw the spots with Sami Zayn. Sammy with Brock. There's been some very interesting little spots and stuff. And I'm like, Brock doesn't sound too bad on the stick right now compared to other times.
I feel like it's because he has someone interesting to feed off of.
That may be true. Him and Sammy, that whole spot, I was like, wow, like Brock didn't trip up. Brock sounded decent. He enunciated well. He didn't sound too stiff. He sounded intimidated when he was trying to intimidate Sammy. I was like, okay, not bad, Brock. Like, he's never been over. That's why he's always had Heyman. You know, he's never been a good promo. He just never has. And I was like, man, has he actually evolved?
Yeah. Now, another quick question, because it just came to mind because we were talking about that brief segue into the land of WWE again. Cody has the belt. Going back to the open challenge idea. Do you think this is how they're going to bring Johnny Gargano in?
That would be fucking amazing.
Because goddamn Johnny Wrestling, so fucking good.
Another talent wasted.
I know.
In the big company.
I know. I mean, he did amazing work in NXT. Don't get me wrong. Like, they utilized him fairly well. But in the grand scheme of things, they could have done better.
Yeah. But that's what they do. I mean, they have so much talent, big or small guys, you know what I mean? And I mean, Jesus Christ, look at how much attention and merch and shit they got from Bray Wyatt. I mean, losing him, that was the dumbest move they ever made. And now he's probably not even going to get into wrestling. He's probably going to do movies and stuff.
Well, I mean, I can't remember if I mentioned it on our last episode or not. I probably did, actually. But rumor has it he's been hobnobbing with EC3 and now going by the Titan Adam Shear in their Control Your Narrative group.
Oh, really? Really? I haven't seen that.
That's what I heard through the grapevine. Now, mind you, this is pro wrestling. The grapevine has a lot of bad fruit on it. So
that would be an interesting concept. That was
because as of right now,
like who the hell thought they'd see Adam Shear on Ring of Honor's last pay-per-view, or
I know
not be their last pay-per-view?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like part of me is like, God damn, I need to talk to his dad. But I hardly ever make it down here when his fucking Rick's at my dad's house.
That's crazy.
It's like every time it's like, oh yeah, Rick was here this weekend talking about things. It's like, fuck. I miss him all the time. Because he talks about all kinds of shit, man. Like, because Adam Nelson, like, goddamn everything.
That's crazy.
Like, I knew about some of his title pushes, like, months before they ever happened, but, you know, it is what it is. But to talk about that little group for a second, and I know I mentioned this with Grayson a week or two ago on our last episode, I like the idea of them being an outsider faction that just, like, works contractless and just does appearances for all of the different promotions because they're controlling their narrative. They're not tied down by anybody and they're doing what they want. They just pop in here and there
Yeah,
you know what
I was kind of thinking it's more of a slick version of what Brian Pillman was doing at one time.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like the loose cannon angle, working everybody and nobody at the same time.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
I would love to see it. I would love to see it.
Got a lot of potential. But yeah, I mean, all in all, I think Holiday Bash was, well, for one, I'm going to say it was one of the best birthday presents I've gotten in a while. So thank you, Corey.
My pleasure. Not a problem.
Yep, and then I'll thank Tony Khan as well for giving me a good late birthday present, because goddamn, what a show!
Yeah, it was stacked. It was stacked for sure.
I mean, that they had to go hard if you're going to bring it back to Greensboro and hype it that it's the first show in Greensboro in forever. They did Greensboro well. They didn't do them dirty, and that makes me happy.
Yep, Greensboro's a place for wrestling. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Pro wrestling.
But I guess since that's everything, gentlemen, we can go ahead and wrap this bitch up, put a bow on it, and call it a day.
Well, it was a pleasure. I had a great time chatting about pro wrestling with you guys. That's for sure.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Corey took to it like a fucing fish to water. I was amazed.
Yeah, he definitely got in the flow of things. It was great.
Well, I'll have to. You got my number. I guess if Grayson wants to take more time off, just let me know.
Okay.
I'll step in. Yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, that is this week's episode of Post to Post. We'll go ahead and again thank you to the Carolina bad boy, Corey Chapel, and thank you to Corey.
just plain Corey. That's right.
Yep.
Just plain Corey.
Don't forget special episode between two Corys.
That's right.
On this wonderful episode of Post to Post, aka Between Two Corys. And for those of you that don't know and have only heard of Wilkesboro because of us, we're referencing Zach Galifianakis in Between Two Ferns because he is from my hometown.
That is true. And he's been living in my home area up in Ennis.
Yep. He owns a farm up there or some shit.
Yeah, he owns a farm up there. I remember he filmed that Fiona Apple video there where it's like him lip syncing to her song. Crazy.
He's an odd dude. I know.
He's an odd duck.
my buddy sees his dad at the fucking smokehouse all the time and like shit like that. I saw him at Walmart a few years back and just gave the knowing nod and got one back because I didn't call attention to it. I was like, "What up?" He's like, "What up?" That's pretty much all it was. So it's kind of cool. But yes, the Between Two Ferns reference of Between Two Corys is
Corys, yeah.
yet again, another chef kiss. But yeah, thanks to everyone listening. Thanks to Falcon for making everything sound good and for putting up with Chapel.
Fuck that guy. Fuck Falcon.
There it is. Also,
I had to put it in
Falcon for destroying Corey at Mario Golf so bad that he came to record the show.
What? That's not ever happened. Ever. I don't know how much he paid you to say that, buddy, but
I had to. He edits the show, and so I've got to be nice.
Yeah, Falcon's strong arming you. I see how it is.
And a little bit of that payola. But yes, honestly, we're fucking everywhere that you can listen to podcasts except for Pandora because fuck them, their terms of service make it to where they pretty much own the show, and I'm not down with that.
Yep.
Find us anywhere, follow us everywhere. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I might not update often, but hell, when I do, I try to make it good. Follow the Facebook page for wrestling news. I get enough of that going. It's pretty regular. Instagram, there were a lot of pictures from the show last week, so if you need to see some of them, there they are. They're not amazing because, again, cell phone photos from really far away don't do wonders, but they're still better than nothing. Follow us. You'll get information one way or the other. Send us an email. Tell me if you hate us or if you like us. It doesn't matter. p2pwrestling@gmail.com. That's P, the number 2, P wrestling@gmail.com. So yes, there it is. All right. Other than that, another wonderful episode in the books. We'll see everyone in the new year because honestly, that's probably the next time we'll fucking do an episode, like next week. So hey, good times, 2022. Woo!
Happy New Year, guys.
Yeah.
Happy New Year, everybody. All right. And with that, everybody, that is it. And we will catch you on the flippy flip. Bye.
We'll see you guys later.